Who does these things at 6:45?
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Thursday, August 27th, 2015. Time once again for your Gitmo Nation Media Assassination Episode 751.
This is No Agenda.
Kicking off the I Love Laundry Tour and broadcasting from a live remote in FEMA Region 6 in the capital of the Drone Star State. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where the traffic's backed up, I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
And then that's it. Weather and traffic on the 8s with John C. Dvorak.
The traffic's backed up.
Yeah. Well, John, here we are. The inaugural...
Wait, let me set the stage.
Yes. Set it.
You're out in the sticks doing a remote.
Kind of in the sticks. Yeah, kind of.
Well, you're in a park.
I am in McKinney Falls State Park here in Texas.
There's probably sticks all over the place.
There's tons of sticks everywhere. Yes, so the I Love Laundry Tour vehicle was acquired on Tuesday. And I immediately took it out to the park, and I've been here since then. Yeah.
Are you alone?
I am alone, yes. But I have had a visitor. Not last night. I have had a visitor.
It's like one of those trailers behind the prison.
Yeah, conjugal visit trailer. Exactly.
Wow.
No, but I think it's going to be great, John. I'm very bullish on the tour.
You finally got him out of the trailer.
Yeah, finally you have your wish.
My dreams come true.
So, of course, it's still about 98, 99 degrees during the day here in Texas. And
you should have headed, I don't know what to tell you.
No. This is just the test, but it's good, so I know what it's like to operate it in...
worst case scenario.
Heat. Worst case scenario. So I kept the air conditioner on all morning, got it to like nice 68 degrees, and now, of course, I had to turn it off. Now, the Airstream has these vents that suck air out, and I've got all the shades down, so hopefully we'll be okay. Keep it cool, at least for the broadcast.
Well, 3 hours, yeah, your coolness will last about 40 minutes max.
Yeah, we may be turning the air back on later, or I'll be taking off my pants, whichever comes first.
Yeah, well, probably the pants first, then the air.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, prepping.
Tell us a little bit about the trailer.
Okay, this is a Airstream Flying Cloud 23D, as in Delta.
So it's a 23-footer.
23-footer, exactly.
The D stands for what, dining room?
I think it does. Dinette, that means the dinette is in the front, with the, if you've ever seen the new Airstreams, with the big, beautiful picture windows, and it has a bed in the corner in the back. I have to say, this thing is put together really well. Having, the last time we did the Hot Pockets tour, hauled around that formaldehyde trailer, which was, now granted, it was a 19-footer with a slide out, but I could live in this. I could really see myself doing it.
Yeah, I can too.
And the kicker, so it has a TV built in, and you get this little crank, and the antenna comes up, which I always thought was just kind of bogus, but I'd forgotten all about the transition to digital of the over-the-air broadcast. I must have 50 channels of television here.
If you're yes, digital is fantastic.
The only problem is 40 of them are in Spanish.
Apparently the Spanish and the Chinese and the Vietnamese have taken advantage of this these little bitty sub channels, because you can get if you get like a channel like channel 4, you can actually divide that up into 5 channels. That's
true, and it's very confusing.
And they do it.
Yeah, as I was flipping through it, you have it'll be channel 18-1-2-3. So they are indeed multicasting, multiple languages. At least I get the big networks, and I get PBS. Also, a lot of home shopping still on the over-the-air digital. I thought that had all gone away.
Oh, no. When I crank mine up to my over-the-air, I do a scan every so often to update the channels.
Right.
Because they do change, actually, Probably more than you'd think.
Oh, really?
I get like 96 channels from here.
I'm telling you, it's phenomenal how much you get. Not that there's really anything interesting on, but at least I could watch a NewsHour and some of the essentials. But yeah, I'm really happy. I'll probably do a little walkthrough video. Maybe not this time, but maybe next time we pull out. Because I'm thinking, John, around the end of the second week of September, I hit the road and head off towards Colorado, Yellowstone, keep moving up, and maybe do the Calgary run.
Well, get your Yellowstone out of the way before it gets too cold.
Yeah, I don't want to be hauling this thing in the snow. That's for sure.
Well, actually, if you're going to be out in September, you're catching the fall. You get the colors. You could maybe get the Calgary. I would still say Edmonton would be my target.
Edmonton. Okay. But, very happy, and thank you all for all I must have 40 different invites already. People telling me that I can, drop by, get a free hookup, take a shower, lots
free
of...
what?
A hookup.
Oh, hookup.
Yeah, with, power and water.
I said hooker.
No, but they have offered weed. Surprising number.
Colorado.
It's like I'm getting it from everywhere. Hey, man, you want some weed? Come on, drop that thing over here. Yeah, excellent.
Check it for trackers every once in a while.
I'm sorry?
Check it for trackers.
Trackers?
Yeah, somebody goes up there and you slap a little tracker on there.
I was contemplating.
Black white kind of following you around for some unknown reason.
I've been contemplating just adding an APRS beacon to it, so that it can be so we can track the progress.
Well, you might as well go. You might as well. Somebody else is going to be doing it anyway,
right? Yeah. So you don't have to stick any magnetic GPS things on it. Don't worry about it. We'll track it through radio, and also it'd be interesting to see how well APRS works, which is ham radio. Short messaging service, and it can send out the location. You can track it on aprs.fi, Fox India. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be great, actually. In case all of a sudden you disappear, we'll know where the trailer is anyway.
Exactly. You'll at least have an idea where I was supposed to be. Technical aspects of the show. So we have the mobile rig set up here on the dinette. I tweeted out a picture. You can take a look at that. And running everything on because this is the park, the state park. And the national park, state parks, they don't really have any Wi-Fi coverage. You can get it at the campgrounds. So this does have a Wi-Fi. There's a Wi-Fi access point somewhere at the entrance to the park. I had this right now running on the T-Mobile on the iPhone 6. I have LTE 2 bars, but I have on order the booster that we talked about, and I'm also going to get the Verizon MiFi, because Verizon seems to have the best coverage, and all the way into Yellowstone. And I have no idea how to work in Canada if we get up there.
Same thing.
But I'm reasonably impressed with how well this works. I mean, I was getting 5 megabits down, 5 megabits up last night. Until you can tell that people are sucking down Netflix or doing something. It just crunches down to about a little under 1 megabit per second. But I tested at the same time yesterday. I tested everything when the jingles were working, which aren't working right now, and the speed was good because I guess everyone's off at work, etc. So.
I notice this with Horowitz. I do that in just about movie watching time.
Oh, really? That's probably not such a good idea then. You should do it a different time.
Well, he actually works for a living.
Oh, John, I have good news.
Good news, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. Here's your good news. As you know, the brain professor moved to California. And I don't think the brain professor will ever talk to me again after the tirade against him on the last episode. He should be ashamed
of himself for giving you crap in public.
I agree. I
thought you two were like buddies in a very pleasant way in a private level.
Yeah, sure.
And then he comes out and just does this on Facebook. It's terrible.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's the bad form.
So I met he and his wife. We're a part of the full-on Obama bot dinner team. Of course, since they moved away, we really haven't had any Obot dinners. However, Lori to the rescue. Lori and her husband Mark, they're the instigators of the Obama bot dinners.
The artist.
Yes, the artist. have now invited me to a new Obama bot dinner on Monday. And guess who's coming to dinner?
Guess who's coming? Sidney Poitier is the only thing to answer to that question.
Dave Stewart. That's
the rocker?
No. That is the guy.
No, wait, the baseball pitcher.
No, you have one more try.
Dave Stewart. The Democrat.
No. This is the scientist who cracked the Mayan code.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And his wife Carolyn Porter, she is the chief fundraiser for UT for the McDonald Observatory. So I'm thinking I can probably get into the observatory, park the Airstream out front.
That'd be great.
So we got to think about what I'm going to talk with this Dave Stewart guy. I want to talk about.
Well, I don't know. Is he? What's his politics?
I don't know. Please.
Okay, you're right. He's
Come
in
on.
Austin.
How about I start
all in? He's a religious scientist. Science is religion.
How about
religion
I start off?
Science.
I'll start off with this. Hey, man, what did that code say?
The code said the Mayans were pretty nasty.
We'll find out. Okay, so that
again, I'm talking about the Mayans for starters. You don't want to get carried away. He's never heard the show. Well, he's probably listening to this one.
He might. Yeah. You know, as a preamble, he probably doesn't understand the Obama bot part, but he'll learn. Okay.
Yeah.
Do we want to start off with the obvious?
Or the shooting?
Yeah.
Well, I guess we have to. I don't think we have much of a choice. I don't really, the funny thing was I never picked up a clip that introduces the whole thing. Let me take a look. I do have one clip, which I thought was interesting, which is something that wasn't quite...
Well, but let's, since we don't have an actual setup, just from my vantage point where I was sitting in the trailer, going through as much stuff as possible, pretty quickly I got the videos that he had made himself and posted, I think, to Facebook and to Twitter. These videos were, first of all, I had a strange flashback to, was it Doom or Castle Wolfenstein?
Doom.
Yeah, I mean, now do you think he was holding a camera? It almost looked like a body camera.
Well, somebody suggests it might be a GoPro.
Oh, okay. Here's the thing there are two things that bother me with this video. And really, there's a lot of, false flag, it's all fake. Maybe, I don't know. It's kind of irrelevant.
We can't conclude that yet.
But it doesn't even matter because...
Now, what's the point?
Well, the obvious actions are being undertaken anyway. Get rid of guns, et cetera, et cetera. But the things that bother me was...
quickly turned it into a campaign speech.
Of course. Actually, you know what? Why don't I play this, because this is worth some ridicule. This is the president.
It breaks my heart every time you read about or hear about these kinds of incidents. What we know is that the number of people who die from gun-related incidents around this country dwarfs any deaths that happen through terrorism.
Now, that sets himself up for ridicule.
Let's stop 1 second. Yes, stop 1 second. Let's at least tell people that might be in Lithuania what are we talking about here.
Okay.
Let me wrap it with this. There was a horrendous live on the air shooting of a pretty little reporter, a blonde, interviewing some woman about local tourism.
Yeah, from the Chamber of Commerce.
And a cameraman and some guy who...
I'm sorry. John, stop. A photographer. I
don't get that, by the way.
Thank you. Since when did cameraman become photographer or shooter? Funny enough, we often call cameramen shooters. Maybe not so politically correct in this case.
Cameraman's what they're called in the business.
Yeah, but now they're photographers all of a sudden.
Yeah, everybody's calling this a photographer.
Maybe this is some kind of...
And people in the industry calling him a photographer.
Is this like a union thing? Or what do you think? What do you think that stems from?
Code. Now that you mention it, I noticed it too.
It bothered me immediately.
Until now, thought it was a code word for something. So that's fishy. That's a real problem.
Well, yeah.
And let me finish the story. There was a reporter there named Bryce something or other. That's his stage
name. Bryce Williams.
Bryce Williams wasn't Williams, was it?
I think it is.
I have his name written down a couple of times.
Pretty sure it is. Well, that's not his real name. His real name
is something else. I do have one clip of... Anyway, so this guy apparently was a hothead, bipolar, who knows what.
Gay black man. If they could have added Jewish in there, it would have been the trifecta. But they couldn't do it.
He was fired, and then he came back to get his revenge. It's Bryce Williams. You're right, it's Williams. Yeah. I do have this. I have two clips about this.
Well, before you move on, let me just say about the statement the president made. Hold on.
Gun-related incidents around this country dwarfs any deaths that happen through terrorism.
Yeah, why don't we get rid of automobiles? Because they dwarf everything.
Yes.
Why is he dumb? Why would he use that? Why does he compare guns to terrorism?
Maybe they're trying to transition the emphasis with the FBI and the wiretaps and everything else back toward the public rather than toward trying to find terrorists, because they're having a crappy time of that. They can't find too many terrorists in the country. They have to create them. I don't know. This whole thing seems like a bigger scheme, a giant scheme.
Also, he said gun-related instead of hate-related or crazy... Insanity, or how about drug-related? He was apparently the station, after they fired him, and he sued the station. They settled, so he did get money out of the deal. They said, you really need to seek medical attention for your anger issues.
Yes.
And here's
not overly reported.
Here's a question on all of these antidepressants, which he may have been on, we just don't know yet,
and we'll never find out.
The side effects. Here, I have a question for you. The side effects of these SSRIs, pretty much all of them say you may have suicidal thoughts or thoughts of suicide. Shouldn't one of the disclaimers be you may have thoughts of murdering people?
I don't think they want to put that on there.
No, I don't. No, I know, but it's something to ponder.
Well, they at least should mention violence.
No, okay, there you go.
Violence toward others. That would be a good thing to put on there.
Okay, did you have a clip you wanted to start with?
They never get into this. The news, we've talked about this before. We'll talk about it again, and everyone who listens to the show knows that this is a theme. It's one of our things that should be on the FAQ. Mm-hmm. That the news networks, the big ones, all of them, ABC, NBC, CBS, and I'm listening to all three for 3 weeks, 3 by 3.
3 by 3.
Every day. And I am starting to pick up on trends and certain things that one network will do and the other one won't. Mm-hmm. But all of them are supported by drug companies. All of them. Not with
all
no
the networks,
exception.
Yes, yeah.
They do have other commercials that come in once in a while, and I have a little example of where they're trying to force there's some people to advertise by running negative stories about them. Mm-hmm. ABC, of course, is the worst offender when it comes to this kind of relationship with the advertisers. I have 2 examples coming up later. And so we're never going to get these stories, and the idiots over at Democracy Now! Who could do this story, and they kind of touch on it once in a while, keep drifting back to global warming, no matter what.
Wait. They're talking about the shooter and they drift black.
No. I'm just saying in general.
You scared me.
In general, they do not. In fact, they're not even talking about this story.
Well, let me just. Do you have any clips? Because I have a couple things that I think are worth going through. All right, you go first.
Let's play. This is on CNN. They had a criminologist discuss, and I thought this was kind of insightful because CNN was very upset by this, probably more than the other networks.
And if you want to do anything, if you want any kind of attention, as we've said many times on this show, you got to kill some journalists. There's nothing like one of their own being killed to get all the attention you want. It truly is the way to go.
CNN criminologist on Bryce Williams' psyche.
Casey Jordan, criminologist. This is also so unique in that you have this deranged person who is obviously, set on committing these crimes, follows through, comes prepared with, and I don't know for sure whether it was a GoPro camera strapped to him or his cell phone. I don't know, but that you see from the vantage point, and this is a video that we're not sharing, but it. We've seen it. Most of us have seen it. He waits.
Thanks for not showing us.
They're in the show notes in case anybody wants to see it. I do have offline copies, of course.
Make sure that both of these individuals are in the shot before shooting. What?
Oh, hold on a second. That's bullshit. That's not true. So she's now pretending to say that he positioned himself to make sure they were both in the shot before he started shooting? No.
That's what she's kind of indicating. That,
yeah, well, no.
She's full of crap, but that's fine. She's just embellishing.
All right.
What is that about?
What is that about?
It's about the fact that he chose to do this on live television for maximum shock value and impact, and to a huge extent he has succeeded in doing that. He at one point zooms, and then actually the camera goes back a little bit. At one point he turns away. He's very close to the victims.
Yes.
But he's so close, but they are in the middle of a live broadcast. And for those of us who work in live television, you get peripheral vision where you don't see anything that's happening on
All right, stop right there. Bullshit. John, this is the thing
hold on.
This is the thing that bothered me.
Well, here's what that should bother you, and there's a couple of things here. Remember this, another thesis that we run on the show commonly is you always tell the truth. The word she meant to use was tunnel vision.
Yes, because peripheral vision is exactly what you have. I've done thousands of interviews, and that guy, even if he wasn't as close as the video showed it, you know. And she showed no indication.
It's a human thing. You cannot not see little things like that.
Particularly if a guy is sticking a Glock at you.
Vision where you don't see anything that's happening on the sides because you're just focusing on what you're doing at that exact moment. And he, as a reporter, knew that. He knew that he could get within a few feet of them and probably disguised himself as just a bystander, curious at what was going on right there on the pier at that moment, and get close enough so that he could actually pull those shots off. He knew it was live. He knew it would be broadcast, and he knew it was groundbreaking. No one else has ever done this, and he wanted to go down in infamy.
All right, well, before you say anything, I need to hit on this again. I have a lot of friends who are photographers, better known as cameramen, and so he has the camera up to his right eye, and this guy is approaching him from the left as he makes his turn. Cameramen all the time see peripheral, and you'll see if you've ever been on a remote shoot, you'll often see a cameraman actually move his head back a little, turn to the left to see what's going on, because they have to be aware of all their surroundings. It's within their nature in case they need to get something else that's in the shot. This guy was so close to him, he must have seen him, unless it was some superimposed video. I have no idea. But to say that in the business we know that you don't see that, you can get within a few feet, no, exactly the opposite. I think I have some expertise in this field.
Yeah, I think you got this. You definitely have standing.
Thank you. I'm in good standing on this.
Well, it's a legal term. Let me. I mean, you could testify it as an expert.
Yes.
In this case, let me read a note from Justin Bloom, because we both looked at this video, and Justin Bloom is one of our producers.
Yes.
So there are a few issues which he's got a copy of the video, which you have caught, but just in case. One. When the first round fires, the reporter jumps up, which shows that she was not hit with the first round. She would have moved backwards from the force of the bullet.
Yep.
I have served in the infantry in Afghanistan and seen it.
Yep.
2, she runs away. There's no blood anywhere to be seen on her. The bullet would have gone clean through her and would have left a nice exit wound on her back. Yep. But there is nothing to be seen. Also, she is running. She is not holding any part of her body, which she would know if she had been actually, which she would have been doing if she'd been actually hit on the protected. She'd been protecting it, touching or pushing.
Could be.
He also notices a few other things, so he's very skeptical.
Now, a couple of producers emailed me similar reports, but they did say that when you get hit, it's not. First of all, blood doesn't start spouting out like in the movies.
I agree with that.
And some people actually don't know that they've been hit until it's too late, or until later, or seconds later. But yeah, I mean,
it's hard not to think that way when there's a gun firing it as loud as those things are.
It looked almost surreal, John. That video, and that's why I said Doom or Castle Wolfenstein.
Very Doom, the Doom thing. You were dead on, because that gun coming up it comes up just like it does in Doom.
Now, still, I'm like, okay, fine. But then there's a whole bunch of other things that start to happen, like the boyfriend. So the boyfriend comes out, and he's tweeting immediately. Now, the timeline is weird. If you look at the tweets, this could be a Twitter thing where, localization and timelines, I'm not so sure, but at 6:10 is when he tweets, oh boy, we've been in a secret relationship for 6 months. No one knew about it, but, we wanted to keep that quiet. And at 6:45 is when it happened. So I don't know why the Twitter timeline.
We'll just assume that's a.
I'm just going to say that's
glitch.
Technology glitch. But then this guy, he starts talking to the press, and he has this big black binder or book under his arm. Now remember,
the boyfriend.
Yeah, the boyfriend, Chris Hurst,
right?
Who is he's the nighttime anchor. So he's used to speaking. He's very good at, very eloquent. But there's not a twinge of sadness at any moment when he's speaking. This is a free press.
This would the guy. If it was me, I wouldn't do the interview to begin with, and I would be very wrecked.
Of course, he's talking about love of my life, and first it was 6 months, then it was 9 months, which is a little confusing. How many months were you together? And they just moved in together, yet nobody knew that. And so he has this binder under his arm, and here's what he does, just hours after this whole event.
This is something that I have been showing people, and am somewhat hesitant to show with the public, but she, I believe, would want our love to be shared because it was a love that was genuine.
Now, so he's now going to present proof that he is the boyfriend, which apparently no one else knew.
And a love that I hope everybody else gets to experience at least once in their life. As young, foolish couples in love do, we celebrate not anniversaries, but month-iversarities.
No, month-iversaries, no.
And for our 6-month anniversary, she made me this photo album, which says that all of these pictures are from my phone. And I don't really post on Facebook very much. We were not public on our professional Facebook pages or social media as being in a relationship together. It was something we talked about eventually doing, but we weren't there yet. I don't really post much to Facebook at all. But these are pictures from the first 6 months of our relationship, and she said it was my job to upload photos to Facebook and put pictures in here into this scrapbook for the next 6 months.
Why is he doing this? Does he somehow he needs to prove
insurance involved?
I don't know, but he feels the need clearly to prove that they were in love and that they were boyfriend girlfriend.
It doesn't make sense. He should just
very strange.
These are if you're you go into mourning. You don't come out and do this. It just doesn't make sense that you would do that unless you're some. This isn't right. This is not right. It's just not right.
And here's another anomaly.
Let's assume that all this is true as we go along, but. We're questioning it.
I'm questioning.
Calling hoax on this event.
Not yet, but I'm close. I'm on the edge. I'm on the edge. I'm on the edge.
There are some nagging issues that need to be discussed.
And when a police presser starts off, the police chief or whoever it is, he comes out. It's like, I'm going to do this announcement, and I hate it when this happens. Why is he just so stupid and careless?
Through this, we continue to keep our prayers and thoughts with the family of Alicia Parker and Aaron Wade.
Alicia Parker and Aaron Wade. No.
Excuse me, Aaron Ward. As well as...
I'm sorry.
It's not Alicia, it's Allison.
I know. He gets both names wrong. And
yes, that's what I said.
And she's on the air. She's a known... Apparently, everybody loved her. She was fantastic. Fabulous. So, I just have this notion that this boyfriend, Chris, he's the one that's insane. Pay attention to this kid. Who knows what he set up? But, maybe there was some... I don't know. I have a bad feeling about this kid. I hate to say it, because it's like...
About the boyfriend?
The boyfriend, yeah, the boyfriend. And then you have the boyfriend and the father go on Megyn Kelly... And there's more weirdness coming out of his mouth where it's almost like he's trying to correct the dad who does break down during this interview, to correct the dad that he's going off script about crazy people.
I'm sorry, Chris. He was a crazy man that got a gun, and that's
the way he says that. I'm sorry, Chris. I just got to say it.
That's part 2 of where we're going.
And I have posted on my Facebook page that I report on mental health issues, and I have since last year when a state senator was stabbed by his son. So I think we need to be very careful with how we identify this man, and we don't label him and then discriminate against everybody else who has a mental illness in this country who needs access to services. But clearly something went wrong here between him leaving our station and being able to purchase a gun and commit a premeditated act.
Now, does this not sound like a pre-built script to say, hey, not everybody who kills people, he's saying we need to keep guns out of the hands of crazy people. And this happens to be his beat, apparently. This is what he does. He looks at crazy people.
What happened behind us was clearly wrong, but there had been ample time beforehand where many, many other things went wrong. Those need to be addressed, not any of the allegations he is saying about the love of my life, the daughter that he loved, a cameraman who deeply loved his fiancée, who was the morning show producer, and she loved him back in equal measure.
I don't know. It sounded scripted weird, and then Megyn Kelly does what... she's a dick.
And it was believed by some that before Adam died, the photographer, that he actually pointed his camera in the direction of his killer. So there would be...
He's a hero!
...photographic evidence of the man who took his life. It's just speculation. But those who know him...
If that's what you want to speculate, then go right ahead. You're talking about 2 people who were killed in cold blood, and they didn't suffer, so I don't think it's fair to be making that kind of...
I really don't want to talk about that, Megan. I just,
Hey, Megan, you dick. Don't do that. Yes, he was a hero. As he was falling down, he twisted to point the camera at his assailant so he could help everyone find him. Yeah, right.
Well, a couple of things I've noticed on this thing. First of all, this took place in the state of Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Virginia is known as a state that has a lot of people working in intelligence agencies.
I think that is a prerequisite when you get your driver's license, isn't it? You have to check the box. Yes, I'm an intelligence asset. Yes, I'm an intelligence asset.
Now, I'm not saying that this is a complete because we don't know, but we didn't hear from the girl's parents who it.
Well, that was the father. That was the father.
That was the okay.
But the boyfriend and the father were together, and the boyfriend looks more like a handler than someone who's commiserating. Because the minute the guy, starts and hey, this guy is crazy, and then he says, "Whoa, hold on a second, this is what I do. I investigate, how people hurt people who are crazy and they have guns or other types of weapons." There's something about this kid I don't like.
Well,
I'm sorry. I don't want to be
the whole situation. And let's get back to the Virginia intelligence thing.
Okay, good.
Now, the woman who was killed, Parker, she was one of those unique individuals. I'm surprised she was even working in a local station. If you look at her background in LinkedIn, she's one of those dynamo chicks.
Dynamo?
In other words, she's just involved in everything. Either in college, she was at James Madison, right. Or at Alpha Phi. She was a major sorority girl.
Mm-hmm.
And volunteering, she plays the trombone, and she's just like a
wait a minute. Does she play the rusty trombone?
Actually, she plays I believe I could tell she plays the French horn and the trumpet, and there's a joke there too, and just it's outrageous her skill set. She's a Photoshop person. She can do all this stuff, way out of control in terms of her skill sets if you dig far enough. Perfect fodder for a CIA type. She's
I actually just
good looking.
I did a search while you were talking about it. There's a lot of there's a lot of correlation between Alpha Phi Omega, right?
No, just Alpha Phi.
Alpha Phi. Okay, hold on. There seems to be. I just did a search Alpha Phi CIA, and it seems like we have Jobs Fair Day. The CIA's coming by.
Well, there's probably
it could be.
There's a lot to be said for some of these sororities if you want to get into the CIA. Right. Remember what was that good-looking blonde that was outed by Obama or by
Valerie Plame?
Cheney.
Valerie
Plame.
Yeah, Valerie Plame.
Somebody.
Valerie Plame.
Valerie Plame. A dynamite. That's the type of woman we're talking about.
Right.
A good-looking woman who can get in and out of. She's being trained as a journalist, field type, where she's out there giving interviews. Next thing you know, she would have been, if she's on this track, to be overseas.
Right.
Now, whether or not this whole thing is a hoax or whether somebody killed her and she's actually dead, we don't know. But she has all the perfect earmarks of when we do analysis of these people, living in Virginia, dynamo, super talented, just the kind of person you want as a field operative.
In fact,
at least I'd hire her.
Yeah, the father. I should probably play that bit. The father said something interesting about that. Where is that? They got to pick it up again. I think he said something about she would be perfect for Fox.
And it was believed
for Fox News or something. Hold on, I got it here.
Allison's life and what she meant, and frankly, she was, I had reservations coming here. If it were any other situation, I wouldn't have. But she was a journalist. She was a journalist first, and a TV personality second. And make no mistake, she was a journalist, and she would have wanted me to come here and state the case. We even laughed. I even joked with her that she was the perfect Fox News girl. She was pretty, she was blonde, and she was extremely smart.
Yeah, this is how you talk about your daughter. No, that's not how I talk about my daughter.
It is kind of odd.
His name, what is it? What is her last name? Parker?
Yeah.
So it's Andrew Parker. We probably need to look into him, see where he's coming from. It's odd. Yeah, it's just odd. And maybe, half of me says, it's easy to find things and there's all kinds of anomalies and things are misreported. But you put all these things together and then...
Just too many of them.
Yeah, there's quite a bit. It's just annoying. And then, of course, right off the bat...
You ever question Walmart?
This is the CEO of Walmart. Not the CEO. This is a top official.
Walmart's decision to sell firearms and ammunition.
Yeah, our focus as it relates to firearms should be hunters and people who shoot sporting clays and things like that. So the types of rifles we sell, the types of ammunition we sell should be curated for those things. And we believe in serving those customers. We have for a long time, and we believe we should continue to.
Do you envision curtailing the merchandise so that there are no semi-automatic weapons?
I believe, yes. And in the U.S. is one of the few places, maybe the only place around the world where we actually do sell firearms. And here I believe that's appropriate.
And so Walmart is saying they will no longer sell military-style weapons. By the way, Andrew Parker, remember Robbie Parker?
No, I don't remember
Robbie Parker was the dad at Newtown who was seen, cracking up and laughing just before he went on air and started crying.
Oh, that guy. Right. The guy. That was one of the most horrendous clips that anyone ever caught. It's been somewhat forgotten. You might want to remind me everyone saw it.
It was one of the so-called kids' parents who was laughing up and saying all kinds of, I probably have the clip somewhere, saying all kinds of nutty stuff before the camera.
You had to see it visually to really get the impact.
Yeah, let me just see.
Because he's laughing, and then when they throw the camera on, he goes into a different look. He just is like an actor.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
It's okay.
Well, we need to look into this. The
Parkers.
Yeah, the Parkers. I don't seem to have a clip from Robbie Parker. I know it's somewhere. Oh, well. Okay. You got any more on this?
The other woman who was somehow injured, even though when we saw the shooting, it was pretty much aimed at her.
No, I disagree. It did not. It was no. I didn't see him pointing the gun at her.
I thought I saw him pointing the gun at her.
Could be. Well, it certainly doesn't fit the narrative.
Well, the whole thing is, it's again, one of these things that is not, for one thing, it's crazy. The guy is like a disgruntled employee, so that's always good. Check box. He's on something, maybe not. He was fired. We know that much. He goes out and shoots these people. Somebody pointed out in an email to me, one of our producers, that he had to do this whole gig. He had to get up at 6:30 in the morning. What kind of guy is going to do a murder, just a random murder, so he can get a lot of attention, who's been apparently planning this for months?
Yeah.
There's all kinds of evidence that he's been working on this. He's been stewing in his own juices. So now's the day he's going to do it. He somehow knows that this shoot is going on. There's never been an explanation for that. Is he still on the computer system? And is he looking at the schedules where all the shoots are taking place? And is he on somebody's mailing list? We don't know how did he know this was taking place in the first place? And at this early in the morning, it was done at very early in the morning. It was like 8?
Yeah, earlier, 6:45.
6:45. Who does these things at 6:45? Who goes out on a shoot to interview a woman about tourism, and they do it before 9 o'clock?
Well, unless we're going to re-roll the package later.
No, nobody shoots at that hour. I mean, okay, somebody maybe can send me a note. Somebody who works in a station. There's plenty of them that listen to our show. No, yeah, we always get up at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock to go do these interviews, these inconvenient interviews at 7:30 in the morning, because you want to run it that day. It's not wasn't breaking news. It's not an important story that they have to run that day, so they have to get it in early so they can run it at 5 o'clock.
Hey,
it's a stupid story about tourism.
You have a full on LinkedIn account, right?
Yeah, I don't have it on this machine.
Oh, well, you do. You just don't have the password.
Let me try to see if I can sign it.
Well, let me tell you what it is. Her mother. Check it out. Her mother, Barbara. Are you listening?
Yeah, right. I'm just mumbling to myself.
Okay. It gets progressively worse. Her mother, Barbara Parker, is director of programming at Piedmont Arts. Her father, Andy Parker, is a consultant and candidate for the Henry County Board of Supervisors. So can we find this, what kind of consultant was he?
I got in. Okay.
Consultant.
Give me his name again.
Well, now it seems his name is Andy Parker, not Andrew. But
it'll be Andrew in LinkedIn, believe me.
You think?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. It's nice if I take the J out of the word. That might be.
But if I see his face, then let's see. This is not him. That's an army guy, which I don't think is him.
So what's his current job?
Oh, here he is. Headhunter for the banking industry. Oh, how convenient.
Well, that's different.
I'm a talent acquisition magician for the banking industry. Needle in the haystack searches are my specialty. I find the right fit and don't waste my candidates or my clients' time.
You sure it's the right guy?
Yep, I see his picture. My company, Divergent Search, is the offshoot of the executive search firm Telecareers, which I started in spring of 2000. At the time of its inception, Telecareers is specialized in the telecommunications industry, and as the business specialization changed, they named it as well. Okay, and let's see what's his background here. Sports, sales, professional actor. Appeared on Broadway in The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas and Pump Boys and Dinettes at the Kennedy Center. Okay. Funny how these people always turn up to be, and he's a professional actor, like on Broadway, real actor.
Oh, for 6 years, yeah.
Has also
on Broadway,
regional stage credits, regional and national TV commercials. Mm-hmm. Well, ain't that funny?
Huh.
Well, just another data point to stick in your hat.
Huh. Education, University of Texas at Austin.
No, this is where all the spooks are.
Oh, that in Cal.
Anyway. The only other thing I thought that was kind of interesting was the Black Lives Matter guy. You know him, the one who had the chat with Hillary. DeRay McKesson is his name.
Oh, yeah, the guy with the stage chat in the back.
Yes, the stage chat in the back. So he immediately comes out and tweets and says, let's see. He says, the color of the shooter is going to determine everything about how this is reported. Don't tell me it doesn't matter. See, he thought that this guy would be white. He tweets, some say disgruntled employee, others say terrorist. Whiteness will explain away nearly everything. And then people say, hey, douchebag, he was black. And then the guy goes and deletes all his tweets. Troublemaker a-hole. Troublemaker a-hole. Thought that was kind of interesting.
Deletes his tweets. Well, they're still in the Library of Congress.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Delete all the tweets you want. They're going to end up in the Library of Congress anyway.
And then, so ABC, who we know is all in with certainly with this administration, and are just lying liars. So they received a fax. I love this. The guy he decides to fax his manifesto, which they subsequently cherry pick and release some bits. Apparently it's 30, 40 pages. Why don't they release it? Why can't I read the whole thing?
I know what the thinking is.
Yeah,
if they wanted to rationalize it to you because you're complaining.
Yeah.
If we release it, it will encourage other nutcases to do the same thing, and we'll have a million of these things out there. It's just that we're trying to discourage this.
But also, what kind of guy who wants broad mass appeal attention for his crime writes a manifesto, prints it, because the pictures they showed looked like it was printed and then faxed. Wouldn't you want the broadest appeal possible, like where you put your videos on Facebook and tweeted them?
He took his account down immediately.
Yeah, but isn't that what you? I mean, look, that's how you do it. You want to get the whole thing out, but no, he decides to use technology from 20 years ago to fax 30 to fax his manifesto to ABC, who then it's not like they say we have it and we're not going to release it because we don't want to give him the honor. But no, they cherry pick tons of pieces out of it. I don't know. I don't like it. I just don't like it.
I don't like it either. I don't like the whole story.
No. Well, someone getting shot and killed is always bad.
No, and if there's somebody got shot and killed, which is quite possible, and then the guy's dead too, you have 3 dead people. That's not good. But let's just say the possibility exists that at least the girl, or who knows, if she was a spook, this may be just the way to get her into the field.
There was another shooting that was barely covered.
She'll have black hair. Just be on the lookout for a woman that looks exactly like this one.
With black hair.
With black hair.
Another shooting that was poorly covered because of this.
Chaos erupted behind these walls just before lunch Tuesday when police say Curtis Smith walked in the lobby, pulled out a knife, and stabbed a sheriff's deputy.
He was crazy. It happened within 20 seconds.
Riley Aikman stood just feet away from Curtis Smith.
He went right through security. And I remember he said, I'm going to get you, I'm going to get you. Next thing I hear, pop, pop, and he went down. And I was looking at him, and he had something in the stomach.
Do you know who this is about?
Well, if it's not about Lee Harvey Oswald, no.
This is the White House fence jumper. The guy who jumped the fence and tried to run into the White House.
So he got this. The guy who got very far in. He actually got into the White House. Yeah. Like to talk about it.
Yeah.
That guy?
So he just shows up at the courthouse because he's out free, just like, why not? And then he comes into he stabs someone or tries to stab one, and then a deputy kills him.
Smith is a Coatesville resident who was arrested back in March for jumping the White House fence. Chester County District Attorney Tom Hogan said the courthouse threat ended seconds after it began.
Another deputy sheriff immediately pulled his firearm and shot Smith. Unfortunately, because of incidents like this across the nation, we have learned how to deal with an attack in a courthouse. Wow. Nobody else was injured. The sheriffs did their jobs. The lockdown went perfectly.
Oh, okay. But I'm thinking this guy knew too much. Yeah.
You don't think it was a knife or anything?
Maybe.
It's got to be easier to plant a knife on somebody than planting a gun.
But I don't even know if he had a knife. I mean, this is
that's what your theory would be.
Yeah,
you don't know.
I have no idea. But in general, what a bummer.
By the way, all knives should be banned.
Hello, UK. We're looking at you.
Background checks for steak knives.
We're looking at you. Yeah. All right. So things will unfold as they go along. There's just too many strange points. And the GoPro video footage is so surreal. I have to look at it again. How was the kick on that? Did it seem like that had a lot of kick? Because I've shot a Glock, and it's a little unclear if this is the 40 cal or the what else would it be? Hold on.
Well, I mean, if you're going to go out and do something like this, you'd want a 45, but it's probably a 9mm. That's what everyone uses.
9mm,
38, yeah. I guess.
I wonder what. I should probably look at it if there was a lot of. Yeah,
it looked like it had it. He's a big guy, he's not going to... I don't think the gun kicks that much. I mean, it does kick, and I think it did kick.
I'm taking a look right... I mean, this guy is so close to them. I'm looking at that video again. He's so close. Let me just...
Get the gun out.
Hold on. He comes back. I mean, he's standing... Now, this actually doesn't...
Right. If he's not bumping into the guy, it's a miracle.
He's almost bumping into him. It's almost. And that woman... I don't think we need some of our experts to take a look at the kick on that.
You don't think it has enough of a kick?
Doesn't look like it. I don't know. I don't know. I just like the fact that her dad was an actor. Her boyfriend is trying to prove that he was they were boyfriend-girlfriends by showing the scrapbook.
And then there's also the other coincidence, which is the cameraman's, a.k.a. photographer's, fiance was running in the control room at the time.
And they're all young
Somebody
kids.
On Twitter just went on and said, "That's it for me." What kind of bullcrap is this?
It's rather strange. Yes.
So there's too many elements here. Maybe it's just how about this for a sick idea? The government has decided that, or the shadow government, whoever we want to deal. Pretend is in charge, has decided to keep people. We haven't had enough of these sorts of things with all kinds of discrepant information and screwball subtexts and weird facts to keep the conspiracy driven public busy.
Yeah.
So we're going to start.
It's working.
Because there hasn't been a good one for a while, right?
Yeah, since Sandy Hook, we haven't had anything really good, right?
Yeah, Sandy Hook's been the best one.
Here's how it goes. Hey, I got an idea. Let's fuck with those guys. I got an idea. Let's set this one up. Check it out.
We have anybody in the agency working there? Because by the way, every news agency, every TV station, every place you go has somebody in the agency working there.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. You can, it's bullcrap. No, it's not bullcrap. This is why they have to run drugs to keep the budget going. Half the country seems to be working for an intelligence agency. And so, and it's just so obvious after a while. So we got anyone there? Yeah, we got 2 people. Well, you want to, this is going to, we have to ask them if they want to do this. And, you take them, or I guess you can tell them to do it, but I think they're more polite than that when it comes to something like this. And so you have I'm guessing, and so you have them come in, and what do you think? Well, I've been kind of sick of working here. If I get a field job for in Europe or someplace for the next, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, then I'd do it. Okay.
Well. We'll just continue to follow it. It doesn't really matter that much in the broad scheme of things, other than it does seem that President Obama is trying to get everything all nicely wrapped up for his final bits of his tenure here. And wouldn't it be great if he could pass some fantastic legislation? Very much, I would say, like the train shooter with our heroes, our Marine heroes, our American heroes.
Yes, none of them in the Marines, by the way.
Yep.
And there were 4. There was a 4th guy. We can't forget him.
Yeah. And, well, check this out. So not only did they get the Medal of Honor from Hollande, from France, but they're also now getting the Belgian Medal of Honor, since it happened, I guess, on Belgian territory.
Oh.
Yeah, so there's enough, the Belgian Medal of Honor.
The one award they should have gotten, which wasn't given, I don't even know if it exists, but it should, the Insurance Industries Award.
Well, there was also...
Can you imagine what that would have cost? The insurance companies, if that guy had been shooting up the place in the Thales?
Yeah.
Those things are really expensive.
So immediately, the European Union, European Parliament started rushing through legislation. Apparently, there was already legislation for train security on the books, and now it looks like they'll be voting on something very quickly. Of course, we're seeing the same here in the United States. Which, when you think about it, John, once you've got all the airports, and obviously we can't be forcing malls and movie theaters to put up security as well. But if you want some good government security, want some good money, the next obvious arena is, of course, the railway system.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
what does it take? Just to start with a magnetometer. They're cheap.
Yeah.
And you got a couple of security guys there. And it starts to add up when you start putting the more advanced equipment in. But what do you have the clip where Obama says that this will never happen at train stations?
Oh, no, he doesn't say that. He says, take off your shoes, I think.
You want to take off your shoes? You want to do anything?
Yeah, I got it right here. Here he is.
Imagine boarding a train in the center of a city. No racing to an airport and across a terminal. No delays. No sitting on the tarmac. No lost luggage. No taking off your shoes.
Yeah, that's right. No. Okay.
Well, that's what he was implying when he said that.
Yes. Okay. Can we move on? I think we should move on. I have a little intermezzo for us, John. A little.
Okay, well, then after your intermezzo, I have an even shorter intermezzo of my own.
Okay. Intermezzo number 1. Mike Rogers, formerly the chairman of the House Security Committee, I believe, Homeland Security Committee. We, of course, have been watching him very closely as he said he was going to retire and start a broadcast career. And we are so wrong on this Mike Rogers. I thought it would be no good. I'm like, how can this guy ever do a great show? Well, I finally figured out what he's doing. I have a copy of his show right here. Have you heard the Mike Rogers segment?
I have been trying to hear it, but I don't put enough effort into getting a copy of the show because I know it's going to blow.
Well, yeah, but it's funny blow. Mike Rogers does not have his own radio show. He is not doing a call-in talk AM type radio show. No, he's doing vignettes, which are syndicated around the country. Now, I've done these. One of them was called The Buzz with Adam Curry. I've had, you create a 15, 30, 60-second spot.
Yes, I have been told, I have been given the assignment, and I've been asked, and I've been told I could be syndicated if I would do these sort of things about technology, and I refused. Because I think they're stupid.
So you have Mike Rogers, who has a 1-minute segment which is syndicated around the country. It's called Something to Think About, STTA. Mike Rogers, Something to Think About. And what do you think what do you think his segments would focus on?
Terrorism.
Now, Something to Think About with Mike Rogers.
Sometimes you just know when you meet someone, you're going to be friends. Georgia Bradley was taking a stroll down the beach in Greece recently and encountered some trouble. 2 men approached her and were aggressive about her joining them for a drink. The more she told them no, the more aggressive they became. One of the men finally reached out and grabbed her arm. Just as the situation looked to turn worse for the young English holiday goer, a Greek citizen came to her defense. Out of nowhere, small in stature, her new brave friend showed some true grit. And her teeth. The men decided to move along. Saved by the homeless canine, Georgia was on a mission to find a shelter for the young dog to no avail before her return trip to England. As she departed for the airport, Georgia turned around to see the Black Terrier Poodle mix running after the car. That was more than she could take. She completed the adoption process, and her new best friend Pepper is one of England's newest courageous citizens. Hats off to a happy ending for this brave Good Samaritan. Something to think about. I'm Mike Rogers.
He's doing dog stories.
Wow.
And the kicker, it's bullcrap because you cannot take a dog or a cat into the United Kingdom. They have to go into quarantine for 6 months.
For a long time.
Yeah. So it's crap.
So it's a bullcrap story to top it off.
Yeah.
Just like him.
I love it, though. I'm Mike Rogers. Something to think about. The dog that saved my life. Mike. Dude, let's talk. I'm sure we could figure out something better than this.
Well, my understanding, because I have followed this a little bit, was that he was given the opportunity first of the weekend spot to do some shows.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize.
You always these stations. It's like a crapshoot if you never heard you before, if you don't have a track record. So they gave him some weekend gigs. The 3-hour fill in at from noon to 3 on Saturday on some local talker. And he just was so bad that they decided to
do vignettes. Give him the dog story.
Give him something else to do so he can get his feet wet, and maybe develop a little bit of a professional style. And I guess is where he ended up. I didn't know where the story was going.
All right, do you want to do your kicker, or can we move along?
I just thought mine is a true
intermezzo.
Entremont.
Oui.
A little bitty thing you have between courses in a big meal. This is the George meat clip,
and this is
this is George Stephanopoulos.
An entremont is always something chef has put together for you. A little surprise.
And wash your hands after touching any raw meat.
And
there you have it.
And with that, I'd like to thank you for your courage and say, in the morning to you, John C., where the C stands for Chumming Dvorak.
Well, in the morning to you, Mr. Adam Curry. Also in the morning to all ships at sea, boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water, and all the dames and knights out there.
In the morning to everyone in the chat room. We have some kind of crazy person posting in the chat, trying to ruin everybody's experience. Nice to see all the other human resources in there. And I'd like to say in the morning to our artists in particular, Nick the Rat, who created the artwork for us for episode 750. That was the Gas Jackers episode. Great art of the I Love Laundry tour vehicle. If you haven't seen it, it's really well, especially the free catheter inside on the door, I think really, really, really does it. And so we will be decking out the Airstream for this tour. So thank you, Nick, and thanks to all of our artists who are always giving us great stuff to look at and to use, not just for the episodes, but for newsletters, etc. at noagendaartgenerator.com.
Can you look up DeGracia's email?
DeGracia? Yeah, I can. Sure. You got something to...
Well, he sent us an email. He's our top donor. He's an Instanite.
Oh. I do... Oh, is it Donald?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Anyway, Donald DeGracia, I would do it, but
I have it.
Okay, good.
It's a very long email.
Well, read parts of it that you think are useful.
Okay, you ready?
Donald DeGracia came in, by the way, I should mention this because it came in on the last show on Sunday, like at 12:30, just past the deadline. I saw it, but we didn't include it because we stop at midnight and the spreadsheet's closed and shipped. And so it came in. I said, they probably need the money this week more than last week. So the $1,010.10, which is a 10-10 day in October, is a very lucky day for just Chinese lucky. I'm sending an email to John and Adam. Please feel free to read online, all or none.
Okay, here comes a bit of it. I've been a listener since Cranky Geek stopped. Need my regular fix of Dvorak. He's a Dvorak fan who I've been reading since about 1991. And PC Mag always found to be one of the lone voices of sanity in this world. Adam, I was in 9th grade, your first year on MTV. All of that was so new and exciting that me and my burnout friends used to spend hours a day watching shit. Except there was some big hair loudmouth idiot who irritated us to no end. Oh. It's great. Oh, it's great to see that time and age have turned you into such an excellent human being. Oh, okay. Thanks. Let's just listen to Thursday's show and heard the falling out with your brain professor. I thought to myself, now's my chance to hop in and fill the vacuum. I haven't had dinner with Adam, but maybe I can pay money and get consideration, like the politicians do. Like you, I've gone from being a big hair, loudmouth know-it-all to hopefully a decent human being with some heart and a little common sense. I'm sending in my donation for an Instanite and I'm volunteering to take over as the resident no-agenda brain scientist. Sorry, I'm not at Stanford. I'm not part of the hoity-toity set. I'm just a humble professor at a state university in the heart of downtown Detroit, Wayne State University. Be that as it may, not only am I a brain scientist, but like you and John, I am all on board with the science is the new religion idea. The mentality of these idiots makes me sick. It makes me want to puke. I've written a bunch about this. If you wish, you can give a call out to my blog, Plain Talk, which you can find at dondeg, Delta Oscar November, Delta Echo Golf, .wordpress.com. My term for these people is philosophical pygmies, because their knowledge and stature of anything beyond their extremely narrow domain of knowledge is pygmy-like. Then he has a lot more about... we have a new brain scientist. This is good news.
We're even Steven.
And he would like to be known as Sir Don, King of Blackness in Detroit. And he would like to request Black Hose and MD 2020 at the round table. Hold on a second.
Black Hose.
Not only is he a brain... I guess he's black. Not only a brain professor, but a black brain professor.
Pretty black.
Yeah, it doesn't get much better than that. Hold on, let me put this in here.
Sure, he's on the same caliber as all these other black superstars that are out there that are just bucked the system and just became what they became.
And I tell you, I'd much rather have this guy that...
Well, I'm sure he's more worldly.
Oh, now, hell yeah.
I met a bunch of these guys, these professors from Wayne State when I was in Michigan and I did that speech, which I think there's a copy floating around somewhere. And I asked mostly them because I wanted to go do a lot of shooting in Detroit, which sounds funny.
Yep, does.
But it's a one of these. It's a mecca for photographers who just like ruin and cool stuff. I mean, the Packard Motor Company's old facility, which was closed in 57, 56, 58, something like that, is just still there. And it's just like, holy crap. And you just have nothing but fun. But these guys gave me a lot of insight into how screwed up Detroit was. And Wayne State is right in the middle of the town. And it's a very well-regarded school.
Well, I think we win double with this, John. We not only do we have an Instonite, but we have a replacement brain professor, one who seems to be, has his eyes open. He understands the science is the new religion. I'm very, very happy to have him on board. He requested de-douching and some korma. Of course, I'd like to give both of those to him.
You've been de-douched. You've got karma.
And I think I said korma, but I meant karma.
Korma's good.
Korma, yeah. The jingle machine isn't working today, so some things may be a little challenging.
Yes, we're sorry about jingles, folks. Yeah. We maybe make a list and do them for the next show if he gets it working.
We'll do our best.
Sir Dwayne Melanson, the Duke of the Pacific Northwest from Tigard. I always say Tigard, but it's Tigard, Oregon, wine growing area. 90364. I drove through it when I was up there visiting the daughter who was going to.
And with that,
of the Pacific Northwest here. Whoops! Let me
read that again. You cut out for a second.
This is an early donation in honor. This is an early donation in honor of Adam's birthday next week.
90364. Perfect. Thank you.
90364. Wow.
That's a great number. And I encourage everyone to donate that.
Everybody should donate 90364. I like it. It's got a good sound to it.
Do we get to call that
90364?
002-345-709. That's my number.
By the way, seems to me that people who listen but don't contribute, donate, promote, make art, etc., are the finest examples of socialism. Non-socialists, please contribute. It is sent using the PayPal mobile app, which he was concerned about wasn't going to get through.
It worked. He didn't ask for anything, but I presume we should give him some karma. This is fantastic. Yes. Thank you so much. I feel like it's my birthday already, believe me.
You've got karma.
Okay, here's another one. Now I have to look him up. Gregory Lawrence, notification of donation received. That's what I've got. No note. Let's see what is. Okay, I'm looking here at his thing.
Is there something I should be looking at here? Well, there's a note here.
I'm not seeing any mail. There is.
You're
listening to NoAgendaStream.com.
I don't have it.
You don't have a note on the spreadsheet? Strange. Gregory Lawrence? Okay. I'll
big empty.
3457, your fake number from Cortland, Illinois. I've decided to finally pull the trigger on my first executive producership. I just had to donate after listening to Sunday's show, hearing you guys somehow managed to talk about how the Caitlyn Jenner show has no real conflict in it for like 5 minutes without playing the Reverend Sharpton clip. Darn it.
Oh,
that is pretty bad. That is pretty bad. I can't believe we messed that one up. That's so obvious. What's the rest of the note here? I was practically twitching in Pavlovian response, waiting for the punchline that never came. So please, help a brother out, finish that joke so I can sleep again. Keep up the incredible work. And, of course, he finishes with, thank you for your courage. And we appreciate your courage as well. And let me see where we have him. That is my fault. I am the jingle producer for the show, and I obviously should have done a much better job. So I
could have queued it up, but I didn't think about it.
It's okay. We'll give you the karma, and
there's no real conflict.
Woohoo! You've got karma.
Okay. Do you have Sir Luke?
All right. If we don't know if you mentioned, but he's from Cortland, Illinois, 34567. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. All of it.
And finally, Sir Luke in London, UK, $200. Listening since 2007, I became a knight 1 year ago this week. Now, a year later, I've managed to double my knighthood to become a baronet. I also lost my job a year ago, but couldn't be happier with the way things are now. Just getting by is great. And like yourselves, I have no corporate overlords to answer to. And nice. I know John isn't a huge fan of cyclists, but I would like to request some karma for my cycling event this weekend. Cycling has become my income. Wow.
Oh, wow.
In the last, I think commercial cyclists is great. My income, so the cyclists I don't like are the guys that are zooming in and out of traffic in downtown San Francisco, paying no attention to any of the laws.
Hey, good news. Now that I restarted everything, which I should have done before the show, now the jingle machine works again.
Shut up, slave.
Okay. Perfect. Yes.
Wow. Cycling has become my income in the last year, and I would be happy if things ran smoothly. So you need some karma for that. Also, a small amount of relationship karma might help to smooth things out at home. She's probably not a bicyclist. I love giving to you guys. It feels great. Everyone should listen to this. I love giving to you guys. It feels great. And I'm happy to be part of such an outstanding product. Keep up the great work. Sir Luke of London.
Thank you very much, Sir Luke. And adding that relationship karma in for you right now.
You've got karma.
Did you say bicyclist?
I said bicyclist.
That sounded like bicyclist.
I think I said
bicyclist. Which I think is the new term.
I like it.
Bicyclist.
He's a bicyclist.
Well, we really appreciate
bicycler.
We really appreciate these executive and associate executive producers. You really always keep the show going, along with all of our producers above $50 who will be thanking later on in the show. These credits are real, and we'll be doing another show on Sunday, and we'd love to see more execs and associate executive producers come in. And please think of us for your donation and your giving coming up this weekend.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Of course, you can always do the very important work of going out there and propagating the formula.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Shut up, slave.
All right, so we've learned something very important for the I Love Laundry Tour, which is to always restart the phone before we get going, because that fixed everything. I feel bad now that I didn't do that.
Well, sometimes when the phone really gets completely screwed up, I always advise people just take the battery out, at least let it reset that way, and then put the battery back in.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
Why?
You can't take the battery out of the iPhone.
Oh, I forgot.
Yes.
Oh, that's too bad.
Okay. This was we had the 10th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah, this was interesting because the different networks kind of played it differently.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I'd like to do...
But they overplayed it, whatever the case, when they played it at all.
Well, what I thought we would do, just as a little fun ditty here, is I thought we would go back in time. Hold on a second. Hop in the Wayback Machine with me, John. Hello, John. This is me 10 years ago. Hi, how you doing? Do you remember
our voices were how much higher?
That's right. We didn't have the Voice of God plug in at that time. Do you remember what all the networks said after Katrina?
Yeah, it's just the beginning of the end. We're going to have thousands of these giant storms. It's going to wreck everything.
Hey, what happened to you 10 years ago?
Oh.
Hurricane Katrina was the most destructive storm this country has ever seen, but a growing number of scientists believe it is just the beginning of what could be a long stretch of wild and devastating weather.
Wild and devastating weather.
Their message is clear and foreboding. Time to go green is now.
Go green now!
Hurricane Katrina was the first urban extinction. This is just the beginning of the trend. Masses of ecological refugees.
Just the beginning of the extinction.
Mega droughts, mega floods, extremes of all sorts.
Global warming is real and it's destructive, and its impacts defy the imagination, and humans have not figured out how to change their ways.
We've all heard of the Category 5 storm, the worst. But could there soon be something even beyond that? ABC's Bill Blakemore is right here with us in Times Square.
Check it out. What's better than a Cat 5?
Bill?
Yes, Diane. The scientists making predictions today are grappling with a lot of new evidence that shows man-made global warming has been making hurricanes worse around the world. And yes, some scientists are even considering adding a new hurricane category, 6.
Wait, John. Could you check NOAA for me? Did we ever have a Category 6? Was that added anywhere in the world?
What's unique about this report that you're doing, I don't know where you got all these clips.
Yeah, I have more. I have a couple more.
Well, I want to hear them all.
Yeah.
NBC News in depth tonight.
This is 10 years ago. We have waited 10 years and we have not had another Katrina.
We haven't even had a real hurricane for that matter.
Well, no,
adding a new hurricane.
Have these things by the bunches every year and it hasn't been any.
Right.
Well, what's
Science.
Adding a new hurricane category, 6. NBC News in depth tonight. Hurricanes and global warming. Is there a connection?
Woo!
As new storms brew in the Atlantic tonight, scientists studying the Earth's climate say we are experiencing stronger hurricanes in this century, a trend that's likely to continue. In depth tonight, here's NBC News chief science correspondent Robert Bazell.
Was Katrina a warning of more terrible hurricanes in the next few years?
I think the biggest lesson from Katrina a year later is that those same ingredients, sort of a city below sea level hit by a major hurricane, will be replicated by global warming all along our Atlantic and Gulf coastlines.
We're all gonna die!
That means, lower Manhattan, for example, is right at sea level now. If we get 3 feet of sea level rise from global warming, much of lower Manhattan, much of parts of Washington, D.C., a lot of Miami, all our coastal cities will be below sea level, like New Orleans. We're going to have to build levees to hold back the seas.
Yeah. How are those levees doing? So all I need hold on a second, John. Yeah. Wow. Here we are back.
Wow, Adam, that was an amazing trip in time.
Wasn't it though? Yeah, that harp really takes us places. So that was 10 years ago. These are all scientists, chief this, chief that, all about the science.
The science is in!
And did we get a Category 6? Do we have levees all along the coastline that we've been drowning? No. So, please explain, and please discuss. However, it doesn't make any difference because we're still here in 2015 now. We're 10 years later.
10 years later.
Still talking about, actually, Carly Fiorina was hounded by Chip Chuck. What's his name?
Chuck Todd.
Chip Chuck. I'm going to call him Chip Chuck. Chip Chuck.
I think Chip Monk.
Chip Chuck Monk. He brought in global warming about California's drought. Her response was quite refreshing, and I think you'll agree. You certainly have, have standing when it comes to in the environment and California. And before I start this. Carly Fiorina, who, and I have nothing against her, and certainly what she's saying here is nice, but she has made a very large mistake in her life, a personal, and I think also a public mistake. Too much Botox. This woman, it's like a frame. If you look at the top of her head, from below the eyebrows up, it does not move. Her eyebrows do not move. Her head is like plastic. It's really, once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's the worst Botox job I've ever seen in my life. Now here she is about climate change with Chip Chuck Monk Todd.
In your home state of California, the drought, the wildfires, more evidence
is coming out from the scientific community that says climate change has made this worse.
Yeah, just like the 10 years of Category 6 storms.
Not to say that the drought is directly caused, but it's made it worse.
You know what's also made it worse? Politicians, liberal politicians who stood up for 40 years as the population of California doubled and said you cannot build a new reservoir and you cannot build a water conveyance system. And so for 40 years, 70% of the rainfall has washed out to sea. That's pretty dumb when you know you're going to have droughts every single year, or every 3 years, let's say.
So the other day I asked Governor Jerry Brown to respond to that exact criticism you made. I said you blamed liberal environmentalists in California, specifically on dams and reservoirs. And this is how he responded.
I've never heard of such utter ignorance. Building a dam won't do a damn thing about fires or climate change or the absence of moisture in the ground and vegetation of California. So I think these people, if they want to run for president, better do kind of 8th grade science before they make any more utterances.
That's a lot of insults, but of course it makes no sense what he just said. It would be helpful if you were fighting fires to have more water. Firefighters in California have difficulty getting enough water now, so they're using other means. It would be helpful to agriculture and everything else to have water saved in the good years so that you could use it in the bad years. I'm not denying that California's air is dry. That's obvious. I'm not denying that there is a drought, but there is no denying that politicians have made this problem immeasurably worse.
And now we go to our resident chief.
Before you go on, she's really aiming that at Brown. Brown was one of the guys when he was governor the first time around that was responsible for this sort of thinking.
This is why
he took it as an insult and slammed her. Nobody mentions that.
This is why I'm asking our resident chief environmentalist for California, John C. Dvorak. C stands for chief.
Jerry Brown was the governor in the I guess it was in the 70s. You can look it up while I'm saying this so I can get the dates correct. He was against building new dams. He was against building a second span to San Francisco, really set against that and passed some law or something. You can't build another bridge. And all sorts of things. They called him Moonbeam, which is his nickname, because he was so out there. He was a hippie running the state of California. And the only reason he got the job in the first place because his dad was Edmund G. Brown. He was the governor for a long time, I think again in the 50s and 60s. Jerry was a kid, and he inherited the mechanism, the machine, the Democrat machine in California, and he still owns most of it. That's why he could get in again at the age of 70-something.
So what you're saying is that Fiorina is correct?
Yes, she's correct.
Thanks, John.
Okay, good.
You got the machine back and you're going to use it.
The machine is back and rolling. Yeah. So I thought, but man, that Botox job, that is not okay. That is just severely not okay.
Well, we did a report on this about 4 years ago, maybe, discussing the research, which has been somewhat suppressed ever since it came out. But I'll repeat it because I always thought it was interesting, that if you Botox up your face so you can't express emotions, it turns out you can't feel those emotions.
Oh, yes. And that's kind of the reverse of if you start laughing just for no reason, or what you actually will start to feel happy.
Yes.
It initiates all that. And you know what? She does look like a sourpuss.
Yes, because she can't be happy. She can't smile. She's a wreck. I think you're dead on with the Botox. I didn't think about it. I was just thought
honestly, it wasn't me. I wasn't paying attention to it. And then Tina, the women noticed this. Tina said, she's got like a triangle head, completely just a cardboard box done Botox piece of slab. It does. Nothing moves. Nothing. So she cannot have compassion.
Right. That's right. That's the way it is. But she's not going to win anything anyway. But she could be a candidate, or something could be afoot for 26 or 2020.
Someone mentioned to me that she might be a perfect running mate for Trump, just to get a woman in there.
I think she would be, but
she would take it. I think she'd take
2020.
it. She'd take it. She'd take it.
Yeah, she would.
You want to do anything on Trump?
I got a few things on Trump. I might as well do a couple of things on Trump. There's a couple of things that happened, but they all look staged. And it seems to me there was a little, Trump did some tweeting about how Megyn is a bimbo, or he retweeted somebody else that says she was a bimbo, and she's doing a crappy job. And then Roger Ailes came out and says, "This Trump, he's gone too far." So I want to just tell you my thinking on this. This was part of the deal. There's no question in my mind that this happened. Mm-hmm. When Trump and Ailes came to a conclusion, and then Kelly got irked about it and walked off the show for a week, Trump and Ailes, I believe, came back and did this deal where Trump would insult her, and then Ailes would come to her rescue and condemn Trump for giving her a bad time, and all would be well.
I didn't pull this clip because I didn't know you would have this analysis. I can probably find it. This is exactly what Dan Rather said. And Dan Rather is, he's a pretty well-respected news guy. And
he's been around the block.
Yeah, let me see if I can find this. It might be worth just listening to. Because he said exactly the same. He said, I question this. Hold on, I think it's here somewhere. Let me see.
That's funny, because I knew Rather was going to be on one of these shows. I didn't hear it.
Here it comes.
But
could Donald Trump, or could any
he's with Rachel,
win the Republican nomination while also being at war with the Fox News Channel specifically? We've never really had anything like the Fox News Channel in a previous era in American history. It seems to me that I believe that there can't be a nominee without Fox's support.
I tend to agree with that. However, Trump is raising that question anew. Now, having said that, and keeping in mind that reporters such as myself get paid not to be cynical, never cynical, but to be skeptical, I'm a little suspicious, without very much evidence, I'm a little suspicious of this battle between Trump and Fox. What we do know is that Trump is really smart. As I said when he started this run, don't underestimate him. And Roger Ailes, whether you agree with his politics or not, another smart guy. Whether they've gotten together and planned this out or not, it works to their mutual benefit right now. Fox can argue, listen, we don't give sweetheart deals to every Republican candidate, and Trump can say, I tell you I'm independent, and when I say I'm independent, I'm really independent, because look at even Fox.
Well, there you go.
Well, that's kind of similar. There's a couple more aspects to it, which is, again, this looks to me, and he didn't mention this, I think he's right, but this is a big publicity stunt to favor Megyn. There are people that never heard of Megyn Kelly. They never watch Fox News, let alone her show.
Good point.
She's got big numbers on Fox, but that's not the big numbers that that Trump showed that they could really potentially get with the 24 million. She gets like what, 5 million maybe. I think this is all in her favor. That's what I think she was told this too, because she took off for a week. Pissed off or it could have been staged. And then she comes back, and then Trump comes out and slams her for coming back. It show's better without her. That makes people tune in.
Yeah. Just like, the Jared guy from Subway, when he gets picked up for kiddie porn, everyone goes to Subway, including me.
Yes. Yeah, you too.
And by the way, a lot of people have tried my veggie combo, and they all think it's great.
All right, let's hear the veggie combo again.
So you go in, they say, hi, welcome to Subway. And you say, I'd like a foot-long, 9-grain honey oat, untoasted, pepper jack cheese. You have to say veggie, lettuce, tomato, onions, jalapeno, salt and pepper, a little bit of mayo, and honey mustard. And you have a root beer with it.
Oh, God.
It's breakfast of champions.
Impossible for me to imagine eating that concoction.
It's dynamite. Okay, so we're in agreement. That's a good deal. And for Trump to get, for any aspiring presidential candidate, to have an entire network be in cahoots with you, a real deal. I mean, we all know that ABC is in, but still, this was a business deal that these guys put together. That is pretty impressive.
Well, Scott Adams, the cartoonist, is apparently on this Trump thing because he thinks
he's going to be our next. He thinks he's going to be our next president.
Well, yeah, he's wrong, but he thinks that Trump is the most fascinating character because he's a hypnotist, and a persuader. And so his whole orientation, I did send you a separate clip. I don't want you to play it, but I'm going to start collecting these Shaggy Dog stories.
Is that an end of show clip, maybe, the Shaggy Dog stuff?
It's 3 minutes. It's a Shaggy Dog story. It needs to be discussed. I think we should just collect a few of them until we have a couple, and then we can do like a special or something about them. He starts off with
It's all Trump all the time, everybody.
It's Easter. Well, we're probably not going to do that. But he starts off with a premise, and in this case, the premise was, my wife called me. She says, what are you doing? What are you saying? You're getting nothing but criticism.
That's the American dream thing, where they chop it off.
And then he goes on, he starts talking, and he goes off topic. He brings this in, he brings that in, and you're still waiting for him to get to the point. But they're all interesting little side stories, which is the way a Shaggy Dog works. Although they're usually meant as humor, but he does them as rhetoric.
So let me ask you a question. Just going back to the Fox Trump deal, this most recent fracas introduced me to Jorge Ramos, who I'd never heard of before. But this is the guy that Trump kicked out of his news conference. Do you think that maybe he's incredibly smart and set up a deal with Univision?
It's possible. He knows he said if you only one, I don't know how many none of the networks played this. I think I heard it on one of the like on Democracy Now. Some station that really hates him. He said to the guy that
I have the clip. You want to hear the clip? I have a clip
about him about the lawsuit.
Oh, no, I don't have about the lawsuit. No, tell me.
The lawsuit, he says at the end, I have all those clips too, and they're actually interesting if you hear the whole thing from beginning to end. Because he comes back, he welcomes him back, he says, good to be back, and that seemed kind of screwy. Not everyone ran that. They only ran pieces. This is the problem with news. But at the very end, he says, well, I have a problem with Univision because, I'm suing them for defamation, and they're worried because I'm good at this.
Do you have that clip?
I don't have the clip.
I looked for it. I didn't find that. I found the opening and the closure.
It does exist. I mean, I don't.
Well, let me play what I have just so we can set the stage for this for people who haven't seen it. So this is Jorge yelling that. Is it Jorge? Is that how you pronounce his name?
Good enough.
You're listening to NoAgendaStream.com.
Okay, who's next? Yeah, please. Excuse me, sit down. You weren't called. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Go ahead. No, you don't. You haven't been called. I have the right to ask the question. Go back to Univision. Go ahead. You cannot deport 11 million. Go ahead. You cannot deport 11 million people. You cannot build a 1900 wall. You cannot deny citizenship.
Get rid of him. Yeah, this begs for a mashup of him and Obama's No, 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 No.
Yeah, it does. Somebody should do that. This could all be staged.
He mentions Univision. I don't know. It felt possibly staged to me.
If you listen to it more than once, let's listen to mine. I have the one. This was done on ABC. This is Trump and journalists on ABC. Now, ABC is definitely trying to slam Clinton more than I think any of the other networks. They really do not like Clinton for some reason. For White House pieces makes you wonder.
No, that is totally. But let me do an intermezzo while we're at it. This explains it. There is, I think, a concerted effort against Clinton. The White House spokesman Josh Earnest, when asked about Joe Biden and the secret meeting. The secret meeting with Elizabeth Warren.
You're listening to NoAgendaStream.com.
The president has indicated his view that the decision that he made, I guess 7 years ago now, to add Joe Biden to the ticket as his running mate was the smartest decision that he had ever made in politics.
Yeah, no kidding, because the guy's a goofball, doesn't get in the way, just makes funny jokes.
And I think that should give you some sense of the...
You're listening to NoAgendaStream.com.
President's view of Vice President Biden's aptitude. For the top job.
So I assume... You're listening to NoAgendaStream.com.
That means the president would support Vice President Biden if he were to run, and this is obviously a better decision. Secretary of State he chose, so
You're listening to NoAgendaStream.com.
That's actually pretty funny. The best decision was Joe Biden, and the worst one was Hillary Clinton. It's all, these questions at the White House are also all scripted.
You're listening to NoAgendaStream.com. All talk, no commercials, no agenda.
I think all of you and your coverage of some of the president's comments about Secretary Clinton have noted how warm those.
You're listening to NoAgendaStream.com. All talk, no
comments were. And in the re-election of 2012. And so I think you could make the case that there is probably no one in American politics today who has a better understanding of exactly what is required.
Hello? Oh, no.
I think I have a bad connection.
Yeah, but it's probably me.
You're listening to NoAgendaStream.com. All talk, no commercials, no agenda.
Now you sound good.
Yeah. Huh. This is why I need the booster. I don't have the booster yet. I just moved the position of the phone. It had dropped down to one bar. All right.
One bar.
Anyway, so I played the White House talking up Joe Biden.
Right. And then you said that's pretty brazen.
Yeah, that's pretty brazen because here we have the White House, I think, pretty much saying, screw Hillary. She was a bad choice, scripted question from the journalist. And Joe Biden was one of the best choices he ever made. Now, does that mean there's a departure from the Democratic Party, or is this just the new normal and Hillary is on the way out?
I think Hillary's on the way out.
I wish my prediction had come true on time, which it didn't, but there you have it.
Well, I have. Let's see. Do I have some? There's an interesting ABC report on.
Yeah, this is Trump and journalist on ABC. Is that the one?
Well, there's that, but I think that's just kind of a wrap of what everything's going on. Here's the report that as soon as I saw it, I said, this is really about Hillary. There hasn't been any news recently. There hasn't been another update on the email scandal, which ABC has been playing up. So they didn't have anything to talk about the email scandal. Okay. So to put it back in people's minds, they ran this ABC report on Carolyn Kennedy's email.
Another story developing right now. Carolyn Kennedy facing questions. The U.S. ambassador to Japan criticized for using a private email for public business. Echoes of Hillary Clinton's recent troubles, and our White House correspondent John Carl here with all the details. Hey, John.
George, this comes in an Inspector General report looking at the U.S. Embassy in Tokyo. The report finds that senior embassy staff, including Ambassador Kennedy, used personal email accounts to send and receive messages containing official business, including some information labeled sensitive but unclassified. Now, sending or receiving sensitive government information with private email would appear to be a clear violation of government policy, but today the State Department said it has seen no indication that Ambassador Kennedy violated the rules with respect to her email. As for Caroline Kennedy, George, there's been no response from her.
We'll see if that quiets the questions. Okay, John, thanks very much.
And now, meanwhile, they did find a new email account from the IRS woman, Lerner. Yeah, she had a secret email account under the name. Let me see, what was the name? It was some crazy name that she used. Toby Miles. And that was a personal email account that she used, which included all kinds of things that hopefully will come to light if they haven't been wiped. So-called wiped, whatever.
Wiped?
Yeah.
You mean like washed off with a cloth?
That's right. That's right. Yeah, so it seems pretty obvious that I think Hillary is probably just waiting to get everything all set to be the kingmaker, and waiting for Bill's unfortunate accident. Usually, when you pay those guys, they never tell you when they're going to do something; it just happens.
Yeah, that's true. It's hard to stop it once it's in play.
Mm-hmm.
We have a couple of interesting talking about slanted news. Actually, since we're on ABC, let me do my ABC stuff.
Does this end our Trump coverage?
It's going to.
Okay. Here we go. All right, then I just want to end it properly. Oh, I got to make this clip mono. It doesn't work. Here we go. Trump! I got to make that better.
I have a short Trump clip that I think could be an evergreen.
Okay.
Play the Trump clip DDD.
I know exactly what this is from.
They have teleprompters.
Let me play the whole clip, because this is the thing I like about him most.
I got home one night, and my wife said, "Oh, that was such a terrible thing he said. It was all over television." And the problem I have with look, they're all live. What do I do every night? I'm on live television. I'm supposed to make speeches. How do you make the same speech? I try and change it up. These other guys, they go around, they make a speech in front of 21 people. Nobody cares. They can make they read the same speech. They have teleprompters. I say we should outlaw teleprompters for anybody, right?
Amen. Fist bump.
For anybody running for president. You shouldn't be. You know how easy that would be? Instead of this, I'm working my ass off. Okay? Instead of this, I can just stand up. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. It's wonderful to be in Iowa. Everybody's going to fall asleep in half an hour we leave. No mistakes, no problems.
Yeah, that was the beginning of that long clip that I have on the separate email of the Shaggy Dog story. It just goes on and on and on with one thing after another, slamming people left and right, and finally getting to the point of his wife complaining to him. It's just it's a fascinating. It's just got to be the greatest guy to have a conversation with.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go with what we got here with ABC, of course, which is the Compromise Network, and I just want to play because every Monday, I guarantee this will go on. I may continue this bit for as long as it goes on.
Past your 3x3.
Every Monday and the C block, they do 1 or 2 native ads.
Ah, yes, we love this.
Every Monday on the C block, ABC News, National News, you can guarantee the third segment. They have the way they do it is they have it's either an intro and an A block, but it's a long A block, really long A block.
Wait a minute, an A block is scientifically determined to be 13 minutes. You can't be longer than an A block like that. Are you kidding?
So they do the long A block, then they go to a bunch of commercials, and then they come back with a short B block, like 2 items.
Right, boom, boom.
Cut back to a long number of commercials again, a whole slew of them. I should document the commercials and read them in order not the whole commercial, but who's advertising. It's very interesting. And then they come to the C block, and the way ABC does it, they have usually 3 stories or even 2 stories for the C block, and it's usually a short little public. I think they talked about the polar bear and something else. A lot of times on Monday, it's a short story followed by 2 native ads.
Mm-hmm.
This last Monday, they only had 1 that would jump into the native ad fray. Tell me if you can guess the company that may be behind this. And by the way, the key to this, to understand it, if anyone else wants to do this, these are stories that nobody else does.
And a candidate tonight for America's most honest city. It comes from the folks who make honest tea. They conducted a test asking folks in 27 cities to put $1 in a box in exchange for a cold drink. Scouts honor. And the winner with 100% honesty, Atlanta, Georgia. The least honest, and you cannot make this up, Washington, D.C., where people actually took money out of the box. When we come back, Panda special delivery at the National Zoo.
We should call this just what it is. This is obviously the Starbucks native ad format, where you have a new product and then you get people to, you do a phony baloney survey. Well, it's a real survey, 500 people or whatever you have across all of your stores. And then you have a press release, and then everyone loves the orange spice pumpkin this year. This is the Starbucks native ad format.
I don't think Starbucks invented it.
Well, I'm just going to call it that, just so we all.
You can call it that because they probably do it as well as anyone.
Did you hear the Burger King thing that they did with the Peace One Day NGO?
No.
So Peace One Day is a huge NGO, a non-governmental organization, so large that for some reason I could not find their 990 anywhere, at least not under Peace One Day or any derivative of it, which is disturbing. They have Unilever, they've got, obviously Burger King, and September 21st is Peace Day. Boy, it's going to be so restful that day. I don't know what I'll do with myself. And here's their fun little ad.
So, Burger King's proposing a burger war ceasefire to join forces with McDonald's on Peace Day and create the McWhopper. That's a big burger with big ambitions. A fair amount to swallow, right? So here's a little how, where, and why to help you digest our proposal. As two of the world's largest brands, we're in the perfect position to influence change. And like BK, McDonald's is committed to leveraging its size, scope, and resources to help make the world a better place. Peace One Day campaigns tirelessly for a better world, but they need our help raising awareness of Peace Day. We could rattle a bucket, but buckets aren't loud. Proposals like McWhopper make noise. Just ask this guy.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Gilley, founder of Peace One Day. The thing I love about the McWhopper project is it walks the walk. It leads by example and demonstrates a genuine commitment to Peace Day and a more peaceful and sustainable world. Corporate activation on this scale creates mass awareness, and awareness creates action, and action saves lives. We hope you get on board, McDonald's.
So do we, Jeremy. We can't do this without them. So we've made participation easy. One location, one day only. We've designed a proposed pop-up restaurant, the packaging, even the staff uniforms. All we have to do is park our differences for one day and do what we both do best. No strings. Together, let's blaze a trail, build the unthinkable burger, and feed the discussion. Let's end the beef with beef. On Peace Day, September 21st, 2015.
So this... Of course, this really benefits no one. This is a non-governmental organization that really does nothing. All they do is take money and make little funny commercials. But this is, Burger King is one of their big sponsors. As I said, Unilever, everybody's all in with these guys. And I think it's really smart. Because, first of all, it could never happen. You can't, the logistics of getting new boxes and, creating new burgers, forget it. It's never going to happen. But what can McDonald's do? And I think we'll see whose side the toast is buttered on, depending on what stations do. If they got a big buy from Burger King, will they propagate this? Do they dare do that against McDonald's?
This is fascinating.
They're
going to do a pop-up thing, which is, the way you get around having to actually do anything in the restaurants. Although I would suspect that if I was the guy, that British phony,
yeah.
and I was trying to dream something up like this, I would try to convince both McDonald's and Burger King to do this joint burger for a week or two with the proceeds from the burger, or at least a percentage of the proceeds, the profits from the burger, going to their operation. I'm sure that would be fantastic. And both the operations, probably both of them, I don't think it would be one that vetoed. They say, we're not doing that. And there's probably some legal aspect to it of collusion, some FTC rules. You can't, when two different companies are supposed to be competing, we can't be selling the exact same product.
I mean, this guy, Jeremy, he reminds me of the Coney kid, because all he does is he makes films. So he has award-winning documentary.
The 2012 guy.
Yeah, exactly. So he says, we're very happy Day After Peace, that's his film, has been licensed for broadcast in 96 countries. Yeah. Does that mean they get it for free, or how does that work? Probably not.
Licensed for broadcast mean?
That means he's getting paid. People are playing it, and they're paying money for it. But
Are you sure?
Well, I'm not 100% sure, but here's the sponsors: Coca-Cola, British Airways, UST Global, McDonald's, Unilever.
Okay.
So this is
some public relations agency.
Well, McKinsey and Company is the right hand guy in this. They create the impact statement, show how groovy they are, and these guys just rake in the dough. I thought it was an interesting approach.
Different, creative. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Is the burger any good?
The burger. You're never going to see this McWhopper. That will never happen.
McWhopper.
No, it's not going to happen. As much as we could probably see a change.org petition. That's about their style.
Well, this may also be part of a longer strategy where there is a McWhopper and it shows up.
Hey, maybe this is a hint of an acquisition.
Yeah, well, that would be a whopper of an acquisition, that's for sure. Right, so let me get back to my ABC stuff.
Sorry.
Now, I have my last clip here. Now, networks like ABC who would do native ads will also do ads that are intimidating. You do an ad, you're getting too many ads. It's getting on everyone's nerves that you're doing. And now let me see if I can find this clip. Congestion. There's another ABC clip here. Oh, yeah, here it is. This is the cars and carbon monoxide clip. Now, let me explain what's going on from my interpretation. If you're going to take a corrupt approach toward native advertising and run these crazy ads that we've been documenting for the last few weeks, you might also want to do some intimidation of people that should be advertising on the network. And they're not, so maybe we should just remind them that we do have a lot of power as a news organization. Again, a story not done by any of the other networks, which makes me suspicious that. And they show logos on this ad. I don't have it because we're radio doing audio only, but they bang these logos out of these companies. None of them advertising on the news show.
Millions of us drive cars with keyless ignitions, and 10 of the world's largest automakers are facing a major lawsuit tonight, claiming those ignitions are to blame for more than a dozen carbon monoxide deaths. Here's ABC's Ryan Owens.
Starting your car without having to grab your keys, a modern convenience that a new lawsuit alleges can also put you at risk. The lawsuit filed this morning in California says 13 deaths and numerous serious injuries have been caused from carbon monoxide poisoning. Drivers who took their keyless fob but left their car running, the garage filling with toxic fumes. Mary Rivera is not part of this suit but says she nearly died after leaving her car running.
The ignition didn't turn off. I thought I turned it off, but apparently I didn't.
Today's lawsuit names 10 of the biggest car companies. Some of their cars do have warning lights and tone so drivers know the car is still on. But consumer advocates have long argued those warnings should be standardized. Further, they say all cars should have emergency shutoff.
You get out of the car and you leave your little interior lights on. You go away for 15 seconds, turns them off. Why can't you just turn the engine off and avoid these needless deaths?
Most car companies had no comment on this lawsuit, but Ford tells ABC News the keyless ignition system has proven to be safe and reliable. And Volkswagen, which said safety is a top priority. Ryan Owens, ABC News, Dallas.
Good one.
If you guys had been advertising with us,
then
you probably wouldn't have run a story like that, which is kind of like telling you, but you're saying you're a bunch of douchebags.
But we could probably feature some safety mechanism you have that maybe we just could explain better.
If you would just, maybe think about it.
Just do a little buy. It's not a big deal.
I'm telling you, one of the things going on is the guys on the other side of the wall, the guys who are actually doing the news, they're just out to get you guys. We are the only.
We're the good guys. Yeah, here at our digital studios where we do native advertising,
we can protect you from these guys because if you're advertising, I guarantee it's not like we tell them not to.
This will prove that
they self-censor.
It'll prove that we have a Chinese wall between our digital division and the news division because we can make this happen for you.
Anyway, there's a lot of pictures that you can see coming out of this.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's the way I see that story.
Oh, I'm in total agreement. I think advertising is really in some trouble. What was I saying? This American Life. They went private, or they went independent, I should say. No longer being distributed by who's the big distributor?
I don't know. It was PBS. Was NPR?
No. That's the broadcast partner.
No, but the NPR is a distributor in reality.
Yes.
There's National Public Radio, which is one of them. There's
no, but it's a production. Hold on a second. What was it called? Who were they originally distributed by? I thought they had a. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Was that a Pure Play? Was that a pure? No, they can't be.
As far as I knew, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they had. I know they were working.
Oh, PRI. Here you go. PRI. Which
PRI, okay, Public, Radio International. That's one of the other distributors. NPR competes with them.
Yes, correct. It is a public radio organization, but they are for profit. They're not a non-profit. They're a media content creator who also distribute programs. So they went independent from them, and of course they have the podcast, which is very popular. Guess what they're doing? They're soliciting donations now.
Oh. Well, that's the old model that's where we got largely from the original models that were done for public radio and public TV. They solicited donations. That's how they got their money.
Originally.
It's not a new idea. They've just drifted away from it. I guarantee that they will see that their big budget operation is going to need more money than they're going to get from the public.
Exactly.
And they're going to start soliciting Ford and Volkswagen and the Ford Foundation.
Underwriters, advertising.
The whole slew of them. These guys they can't do modern, low budget stuff.
It's not in their DNA.
It's not in their DNA.
It's not in their DNA. However, here on the best podcast in the universe, that is exactly what our DNA consists of.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda. In the morning.
And by the way, I want to mention why our DNA is that way. It's because we really do want to avoid the corrupting influence of advertising. It's a corrupting influence. We bring it out all the time. We show it constantly. And whether it's underwriting or advertising, whatever you want to call it, it's corrupting. And I guarantee these guys aren't going to be able to hang in there on public donations.
And just to...
they want too much.
And also to expand on that, this is why you see advertisers like Boeing, like Archer Daniels Midland. I don't know if they used to see Monsanto on there a lot. When Boeing advertises on PBS, it's not because they're hoping that consumers will not take an Airbus flight. All right, it's not like they're promoting. I only fly on Boeing these days. I don't want to fly on Airbus. No, it is promoting the fact that they are in control. Because that's a big ticket item. They got big money flowing in. It's kind of implied you don't really, you don't want to do any negative stories on us, do you now? Because, that would really hurt if we had to withdraw our underwriting, our sponsorship of your program.
These companies, I don't care who they are and how well-meaning they are. If you send some journalists into Boeing or any of these big operations to just dig up some dirt, there's plenty.
Yeah.
It's a big, giant company. There's going to be plenty of dirt.
Yeah.
You hear nothing. You never will hear anything because they bought the media. Well, let's thank a few people
and because
the ones that are behind us.
And because
starting with Sir Borislav Marinov from Trabuco Canyon, California. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And for some reason he's on here twice.
No, there's a note. He decided, he should be an associate
executive producer.
Yeah,
associate executive producer.
Yeah, okay.
Well, then we have to read his note.
Yeah.
Send some renter's karma my way. If this is a repeated donation, this is because my previous donation was not counted last time.
Okay.
Send some rental karma, and while you're with it, some good renters to go. Want some good renters.
I guess he wants good renters to come in. Okay, we'll do that for you, Barislav.
You've got karma.
Happy to do it for our knights.
Ashik Al, what is this?
Musani?
In Muscat, Oman. Oh, this is nice. Does he have anything to say here that's interesting?
He says
last time my message was long and PayPal cut it in the middle, so this time I will keep it short, and it got cut off at SHO.
I keep it show. Keep it show, everybody.
I think he's just putting us on.
Yeah, email us otherwise.
Email us something. We'll read it for you. On it anyone, give us some stuff that's going on in Oman.
Yeah, really.
That's fantastic. Jason Smith and $100 from now. These are $100 donors that were giving us the last of our $100. This is the last time we're going to. You can always give $100, but this is for the special $100 because we got somebody took their money and ran off. Although it turns out that guy ended up giving it.
Pusani. Yeah, Pusani.
Jason Smith, Oak Hill, Virginia. Sir Zog in Elwood, Illinois, 100 or Illinois. Brian Beck in Hubbard, Ohio. Trevor Mudge, one of my absolute favorite names, should be a private detective. Ann Arbor, Michigan. Teese Burrell, I'm guessing, and Teese Burrell, right?
Teese well, I would say Teese Bottle.
Teese Bottle.
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 There you go.
In Eindhoven, Holland. Andre Kelka, I believe, in the Czech Republic.
Damn, this is great.
You got a lot of internationalists today.
Yeah, lovely.
Werner Flipson and
Sir
Schoenhoek.
Bergenshoek.
Bergenshoek. Yeah. That means Barry's hook.
That's right. Sir Werner to you.
Sir Warner, I'm sorry. He's also in the Netherlands, and that's the last $100 guy. Now we go to Sir Craig Kuttner in Norwalk, Connecticut, 8815. Evan Clausen in Lincoln, Nebraska, 7777. He sent a long note. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but he says, this is the part that needs to be picked up on. Last summer, I had the dubious honor of being called out as a douchebag by Sir Richard Leiter, Lord of the Law Library.
Oh, yes.
And for over a year now, I've lived with the guilt and shame of having a scarlet D branded on my soul. But today it comes to an end. Please accept this humble sack of sevens as my contribution to the greatest podcast in the universe. Make a note. Give him a Don't Eat Me Hillary at the end. And little girl, yay, when we're done with the donations. He also has a very funny story, which I'm going to put aside and read one of these days, about Bandcamp Girl.
Well, you know what I'd like to do is he needs a de-douching, so we might as well just do a de-douching and a Don't Eat Me right here.
Don't eat me, Hillary Clinton.
You've been de-douched.
The Don't Eat Me Hillary is a classic.
James Green in Sugar Hill, Georgia, 7337, and back and forth. Josh McDonald, double nickels on the dime, parts unknown. Sir Andrew Holcomb in Ann Arbor, Michigan, double nickels on the dime. Now we have our 5280 people who are joining the Mile High Club, and we're moving ahead with
John,
the website.
Did you see the error in the newsletter?
Yeah, everybody said that he's got 5820 in the logo instead of 5280. Yeah, that's okay. It's a work in progress. It's a pretty.
It was the newsletter.
It's going to be a pretty page. What?
I missed it too, by the way. But I didn't see it either.
Oh, yeah. It's hard. That's what copy editors are for.
Yeah.
So here's our 5280 buddies who are jumping on board with the Mile High Club. J.C. Van Brunt in Kirkland, Washington, home of Costco. Actually, Costco's in the town next door. Kurt Weissman in Zionsville, Indiana. Eric Von Martyr in Van Nuys.
If you're Kurt Weissman living in Zionsville, why don't you just call it Jewburg? It's crazy.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, there's another point we should make. We'd both be fired if we were working for anybody with these sorts of comments.
Yeah, we need to not take ourselves so seriously, people.
But we'd be fired. In fact, there's a story. I have to go aside. I'm doing a little shaggy dog action.
That's okay.
ESPN suspends analyst Kurt Schilling for tweet comparing the Muslims to Nazis.
Oh, can I just mention something? The new talking point, Donald Trump is Hitler. Have you noticed this?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've talked about, there's hell with that. Here, just to prove it, I've got a clip.
Mm-hmm.
This is now I'm going to preface this with, I suppose I could go to a ladies' prison and find the worst multiple serial baby killers and get one of them to say that Hillary Clinton's the girl for her.
Right.
This is Amy Goodman talking about David Duke.
Meanwhile, former Ku Klux Klan leader David Duke has offered praise for Trump's candidacy and his immigration plan, saying he's, quote, the best of the lot.
I saw
what kind of news coverage is this? She should be ashamed of herself.
I saw everywhere. I'm saying, he's fascist. He's just like, Hitler. Everybody loved Hitler before he was elected, and then he was elected, and then they're like, oh boy, he's not such a nice guy anymore. This is really, really, I mean, they're at their wits' end to invoke Godwin's law. If that's all you have left is to say, well, Trump's clearly like Hitler. I mean, come on. Hitler had better hair, and it was there's kind of a fractal there too. Hitler's hair was messed up.
Well, there you have it.
All right.
But the fact that Amy Goodman would do that is just
despicable.
like, okay.
Despicable.
I mean, I have some respect for the fact they bring in news stories that are kind of offbeat and interesting and stuff that the mainstream should cover. But she is horrible as a journalist to do that.
It's horrible. It's
the War and
unconscionable.
Peace report.
Yeah. Hitler. Donald Trump. Hitler. That's all you got to say.
Matthew, I did get Eric Von Martyr. Matthew Polakowski. Yeah, Polakowski. In Lakewood, Ohio. He's in at 5280s, a Mile High Club. Actually, he's almost living it.
And he doesn't call him out, but he says, to my brother Brian, it's time to donate. So that's not quite a douchebag call out because he didn't ask for it, but it's implied.
Ned Jeffrey in Dural, New South Wales in Australia. Thomas Key in Kansas City, Missouri. Sir Zog, our buddy in Elwood, Illinois. Mark Carter in Moreno Valley, California, 5280, and he does have a call out, if you can read it.
All right, douchebag call out to Jake Morrison. Douchebag. From one emergency RN to the other. I hit him in the mouth a few months ago. Awesome work, gentlemen. So that's why he calls him out as a douchebag.
He's doing it, not us. Pista Haidu in Vorendal.
You're not even trying, are you?
You're not even saying it the same way twice.
I am. Vorendal. There you go. Perfect. Nailed it. Good to go.
He's also going to be a knight, I believe.
Yeah.
There you have it.
Let's see. Well, let me read his note. In the morning, John and Adam, thank you for providing me with the best possible food for thought these last 8 years or so. He's an old-timer. They've been more illuminating to me than the 37 before, and it's all thanks to the BPITU, which still gets me amazed, pissed off, and cracked up on a regular basis. I noticed that with this Mile High donation, I also passed my 1K mark, and I thus wish to be known henceforth as Sir Ishtwan the Terrible. Sir Ishtwan the Terrible. It will be my honor to keep hitting people in the mouth until my sword goes blunt and my head numb. I like that. Thank you for your courage. Keep up the great work. You are truly the guardians of reality. Yours truly, Pista Hajd. Pista. Sir Ishtwan. P.S. Please give me karma to the Airstream and the I Love Laundry Tour. P.P.S. My name is Hungarian, just so you know. No, okay. Gotcha. Let me make sure he's on the list with it. Go ahead and continue.
Mark Akulin in Wiedens. Give me this one. 5280 is another. We got a lot of Dutch today. What, you get some nasty article about you in the Dutch papers? I mean, where we have so many Hollanders.
This is Mark Keulen from Weidenes.
Mark Keulen from Weidenes. Yeah. I never get that one. I'm never getting.
I think it's because
it's donating and embarrass me.
I think it's because it's Christina's birthday today. And that gets around, and people think of me, and then they see tweets of the Airstream. I tweeted this studio inside.
It definitely makes a difference.
It does, and we appreciate it.
Michael, what is it? I can't even read this.
Sosnin.
It says.
Have you still not fixed your monitor?
In Swanee, Georgia.
How hard can it be?
Well, there's a number of elements involved here that the variables change things. Dame Beth Borazon, Baronetis in Baja, Arizona. Chris Vaughn in Atlanta, Georgia. Sir Sam Lung in Toronto, Canada. Sir Swiss Senna in Switzerland. When did we Black Knight him? It's Black Knight, Sir Swiss Senna, huh? Eric Hoff in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, which you should go visit and say hi to him. Thomas Schiffner in Kent, Washington. Sir Brad Bauer in Chicago, Illinois. Uwe Husmann in Kolberner, Germany. I don't even Kolberner?
I know why. I know why the Dutch are there. Listen to this. Here's a news article. I guess this is big news. Adam Curry is going to have his ex Mickey deported.
Wow!
According
you had her deported sooner.
According to an insider. This is fantastic. Adam is going to have her deported.
So for that, we're getting more donations?
Yeah.
Think of her.
Yeah, I'm deporting the bitch. More donations. Really? Huh. I'll have to look into this.
Yeah, look into that. See what that... Now, that has to come from someone. They didn't dream it up.
No, they say it's from an insider.
Well,
who could be the insider?
There has to be Patricia making it up because
I'm looking at you, Patricia. Are you the? Hey, whatever it is, thanks.
It could be your daughter.
No. It's not her.
They may pay her. You don't know that they're not paying her.
No. Oh well, I have to look at this.
Yeah, look into it.
That's great.
You got to do more stuff like that.
I didn't do anything.
Now I have Uwe Husman.
I'm sorry. I'm still cracking up over this. This is fantastic.
Is it Kolbermoor?
Kolbermoor.
Yeah, okay, Kolbermoor in Deutschland. He says everyone should donate more often, me included. Good man. 5280, Alan Bowes in Langley, British Columbia. 5280. Sir Bert Beavis in Maplewood, Minnesota.
He's Sir King of the East Side.
Sir King.
Oh, this is
Sir Knight of the East
partner
Side.
Donation. Yeah, gotcha.
Wendy Packard, parts unknown, 5280. She needs some birthday. We got her on the list.
We do.
Yellow as it should be.
Yep.
Herschel Patel in Bilston, West Midlands, UK. Maybe they're hearing about you there too. Curtis Barton in Springfield, Utah. Eric Hochel in Berlin, Deutschland, 52. And now we have just $50 donors. I'm just going to name them off one after the other. Gerald Inabene in Union, South Carolina. Peter Totes in parts unknown. Sir Peter Totes to most of us. Ross Turpin in Troy, Kansas. Christopher Blanco in Mayfield Heights, Ohio. Bryn Evans in Berwick, Victoria, Australia. We got a good international audience today. Donald Napier, it's because of Trump. Donald Napier in Chicago, Illinois. Shad Rich and in the Bendigo, $50. Terrence Knapp in Waikiki. No, he must be in Hawaii. He says Western Australia. There's no Waikiki in Western Australia.
Strange, no.
So Joe Schwartzbauer in Florissant, Missouri. And he concludes it, by the way. There's a couple more coming up, but they're 49ers. I want to thank all these folks and remind you that we do have a show coming up shortly on Sunday. And that'll be show 452. And if you go to Dvorak.org/NA, you can help us out so we don't have a drop off here.
Oh, man, it's front page.
You're not even listening.
No, I'm not.
The thank yous I'm giving.
I can
reading about yourself.
I can multitask. Oh, it's Patricia. Oh yeah, it's her.
My first guess. Why would you say this? Because you're not having her deported.
No. Well, it got her on the front page. Hello.
Oh, you have a picture of Mickey on the front page?
Front page. It says, here it is. It says, Pi reveals all. And it is. Yeah.
Well,
and her. Well, it's in Dutch. I have to translate on the fly. I mean, if you want
to do that.
Okay. Let me see. It has too much preamble. I'll figure it out. On Sunday I will do a reading. It's a big article. It's like the center spread.
Do they mention no agenda?
Oh, man. I got to talk to her about that. I don't care, but you just mention no agenda, will you, baby?
She's not listening to this show.
Of course not. All right. So we're done?
Yeah, I want to remind people to go to Dvorak.org/NA. Now we just have our birthdays and nights, and then we got a couple of things to do, and then we got some more revelations, and the kind of thing that only our show does because we don't have advertisers, and we want to thank these people profusely for supporting the show.
Yeah, it really is fantastic, and it's interesting how it works that you get, how the Dutch, sometimes all it takes is a reminder. This is why I want to remind all of you, you should subscribe to our newsletter. You can find the link in any show notes page, anywhere No Agenda show notes are displayed. And we have quite a number of places. But noagendashow.com, and of course we have the archive, which is a good place to start, archive.noagendanotes.com. We have our search, we have our No Agenda player.
Yes. I want to remind people to also, if you've got a Twitter account, you should add both of us, Adam Curry and The Real Dvorak. But if you have a Twitter account, add a bunch of celebrities.
Yep.
Like, find all the celebrities of your favorites, and then when they ever tweet, you can always check and look on their page to see if they ever tweet. Some never tweet. But the ones who tweet a lot, if you're within 5 or 6 minutes of them tweeting, tell them to listen to the No Agenda show.
Yes.
We had... Christine Chenoweth, the actress, and she said, "I'll listen," but
I don't even know who she is. Listen. Who is she? I don't know who she is.
Chenoweth. She almost won the Tony this year. She's a fantastic singer and actress.
Oh, the Choney.
The Choney.
The Choney.
They should name it the Choney.
Thank you again, everybody. You are keeping us on the air. It's highly appreciated. You're keeping me rolling. This is the tour, the I Love Laundry tour. Should we call it I Love Laundry 2016 or just be nondescript? I love laundry. I love laundry. Because it could last forever. And
put an infinity sign up next to it.
There you go.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Of birthdays here from the No Agenda family. Wendy Packard turned 34 on the 25th. Christopher Blanco says happy birthday to his wife Ashley Blanco. She's celebrating tomorrow. And I would like to say happy birthday to my very own human resource Christina Curry, turning 25 years old today. Happy birthday from Uncle John and Daddy Adam. It's your birthday, yeah. I almost messed that up. I thought I said Uncle Don for some reason. Well, we have a couple. Let's see. We have a change here. We have Sir Atomic Rod Adams, who wanted us to know that his previous donation was for the Mile High Club, 5280. Sir Atomic Rod has always been a big supporter of the program. He is, of course, a knight, and he is our resident nuclear expert. Check him out at atomicinsights.com. It's very interesting, the people he does podcasts with, and it's a wealth of information. Today, with his donation, he becomes a baronet, so we congratulate him on that. And we'll grab our blades. We have Donald Garcia. Where's your blade?
Here.
Donald Garcia and Pista Hajdu. We'd like both of you to come on up, gentlemen, because you have reached the status of knight, and you can join us here at the round table. And I hereby pronounce the Sir Don, Knight of Blackness in Detroit, and Sir Ishwan the Terrible. For you, my friends, we have Hookers and Blow, Red Boys and Chardonnay, Black Hose and MD 2020, Cuban cigars and single malt Scotch, cheap wine and chili dogs, drams and DMT, sake and sushi, malted barley and hops, root beer and Legos, girlfriend experience and good bourbon, 3 geishas and a bucket of fried chicken. We've got mutton and mead. And maybe if you want to add something just as an extra with you, mutton and meat, breast milk, and pablum. And go to noagendanation.com/rings. Eric DeShiel will hook you up ASAP. And thank you again. Also, for everyone under $50, we know you do this mainly out of anonymity reasons, which is cool. But there's so many people who are subscribing for a monthly or even some weekly donations. Really encourage you to do that. Look at Dvorak.org/NA. And as promised, the karma for everybody.
You've got karma.
And there's a Red Book that came out, John. Yeah. Red Book prediction. Did you not predict that we would have some kid eating weed with the legalization of weed?
Yeah, of course.
I think that's in the book, isn't it?
Yeah, when it first happened. I mean, it happened already. I mean, it's not like, it was in the book and then like within no time it happened.
No, it was edibles, but not actual weed. Just raw weed. This is new. No, the raw weed is new.
Oh, it's not a good thing to eat, by the way.
Yeah, but you know what? You won't get high.
Probably not.
No, definitely not. The THC isn't activated until it's been heated.
Yeah.
So they're all freaking out about this kid that found some weed and ate it, and they rushed him to the hospital. He was pale, hyperactive, high temperature. Really?
Make it up as you go along, people.
They're totally making it up. Hyperactive. That's some shitty weed.
Yeah, no shit.
I wouldn't recommend having that weed if it makes you hyperactive. Let's see. We have a little bit of F. Oh, I wanted to ask you about.
I got an F Russia one too. Go on.
Okay, let's do F Russia. We have first of all, we have NATO now starting the largest airborne training exercise since the Cold War, and they're doing this in Italy, Romania, Bulgaria, and Germany.
Well, worse than that is this clip F-22s in Europe.
Oh, yes, I think I've heard about this. Hold on, here we go.
Air Force officials say the United States will soon deploy F-22 fighter jets to Europe, a move that military analysts see as a signal to Russia amidst growing tensions between the two countries. The F-22 fighter jet is considered the most sophisticated plane in the world. The announcement comes after the Pentagon said in June it was set to store heavy weaponry, including tanks, in Eastern Europe for the first time since the end of the Cold War.
Wait a minute. Isn't this F-22 the thing that doesn't fly?
No. You're thinking of the 32. I think it's the 32. No, the F-22 is that stealth thing.
Yeah, the Raptor.
It flies.
I thought. What is the Joint Strike Fighter?
That's a 32. I think it's.
No, that
just look it up. Joint Strike Fighter. Let's get the number.
That doesn't sound right. I thought the 22 was the.
No. The 22 is our fabulous stealth fighter.
Oh, that's F-35. F-35. Yeah, I'm sorry.
F-35.
Sorry.
I even got it mixed up.
Gotcha. Yeah, this is pushing. Meanwhile, Foreign Minister...
This is a provocation.
Yeah.
Well, Snowden.
Well, here's what Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said. The United States has been sending signals it wants to start mending ties with Moscow. Why would he say that if we're provoking?
I don't know. That's very strange. What's going on there?
It's a Reuters report. But if we receive a proposal to start, even gradually, restoring these channels, mechanisms for dialogue and cooperation that have been frozen by American partners, I am sure we will agree to restore these channels. So that's kind of like an olive branch based upon something someone said to him, I can only presume.
I would have to guess the same thing.
I don't, someone should...
That complicates matters.
Someone should take a stand.
No.
Say no. No, we're not going to do that.
I had a very interesting thing, just kind of an aside. I do have another Russian story if you want to play it.
Okay.
This was on RT, and I cut a lot of it out because they had a lot of music, and they had this couple getting married, and they showed them looking into each other's eyes. There's a lot of fluff. And, but I saw this story on RT and I said, oh man, this is like a perfect network news story. It's so offbeat. And this is the Chernobyl marriage.
Today, Chernobyl is an extreme tourism destination, but perhaps not the most romantic. One American photographer and filmmaker, however, doesn't quite see it like that. Philip Grossman has spent the last 5 years working on his documentary all about Chernobyl. He's visited the site many times. He says getting married there is something he will cherish forever.
It was all my wife's idea. She never wanted to have a big wedding. One of her friends had mentioned that you should do a destination wedding so that not a lot of people will show up. And she thought for a second, and she turned to me and says, we should do it in Chernobyl. And then when we finally got to Chernobyl, the head priest would not allow us to do it because neither of us were Russian Orthodox. Fortunately for us, another priest volunteered to perform the ceremony for us. So it was a very intimate, small ceremony. It was beautiful, and then we did some stuff for the camera as well, so that our parents could see what we did.
Hey, hold on a second. Chernobyl is not in Russia.
No, it's in Ukraine.
So why did they have to be Russian Orthodox?
Oh, there's that church. There's this beautiful little church that's still intact in Chernobyl, even though the paint's chipping off and it looks, it's falling apart. But it's gorgeous. They showed a bunch of overheads of it. Is a Russian Orthodox church. Okay. And I guess the guy there's some priest that runs it, and he's I can't do it, but then some other guy did it.
What is the point of this story?
I'm just thinking this is the kind of lame story that's kind of interesting, and on a kind of a personal interest thing that the networks would normally pick up on, but no. We're not doing anything that's got anything to do with anything that's got anything to do with Russia or anything kind of cute like this. And then so RT did it.
And
I just found it to be like this. If I was the news guy at one of the stations, I would have packaged this up in a nice little 2-minute piece.
Yeah, and that's why we're doing a podcast, because we know what's going on. Okay, a couple things regarding the caliphate that we need to at least highlight and discuss. We have the Wes Clark 7. We've been waiting. Looks like Lebanon is finally on deck. We have NGOs all kicking up stories about Beirut. We have U.S.-funded and equipped security forces knocking protesters' teeth out. I think Lebanon is ready for some regime change. Meanwhile, what's going on in Turkey is, and these are complicated things for us to understand, but it really appears that Erdogan does have this whole, caliphate mindset, and
he's all in.
And from everything I read, Erdogan is ISIS. I mean, these guys are funding ISIS. They've got the whole corridor open for ISIS. They're working with to sell the so-called stolen oil. I mean, no one is calling them on this, and something has got to happen. I guess he's going to try elections. I'm not sure, and I really don't understand enough of how the Turkish government system works. But they're up to no good, and I don't understand why. Well, first of all, why there's just not more decent reporting on it.
No,
even Joe Biden said back in the day that Turkey was funding ISIS or whatever it is, ISIL.
Yeah, Islamic State.
Yeah, and then was it? There was a couple of shows ago. They
had a cool clip.
Yeah, I'm looking. I had something too. They killed the guy who was the protector of the what's the name of that place? The ruins, the sacred ruins, which now
sacred ruins. Right?
Yeah, it was now
we're tearing down all the sacred ruins. Can I play one clip?
Well, no, you can't, because I'm leading into something. You see?
Oh, okay. Well, hurry up.
Really?
Well, but what? Go.
Well, I wanted you to listen to this because I don't understand why Kirby, spokeshole for the State Department, when he did this eulogy for this guy who was so fantastic and wouldn't, and tried to stop ISIS from blowing up these ruins. I don't understand why he did the following.
ISIL's damage and looting of historic sites in Syria and Iraq, which have been preserved for millennia, have not only destroyed irreplaceable evidence of ancient life and society, but have also helped fund its reign of terror inside those countries. As we respond to the brutality and suffering ISIL inflicts on the Syrian and Iraqi people, we continue to urge all parties in both countries and in the international community to deprive ISIL of this funding stream by rejecting the trafficking and sale of looted artifacts.
Now, why does he say ISIL twice, where he starts off saying ISIL? What is this new, this ISIL?
Well, ISIL is ISIL.
I know, but he's never said ISIL. All of a sudden, he starts saying ISIL.
I have no idea now that you mention that.
So you haven't picked up on this anywhere else?
No, I have not noticed that they're trying to make this change. ISIL. It's got to be some branding thing.
We have another branding underway. Change the brand.
It's the only thing I can think of. What else would it be?
Well, let's pay attention to it.
ISIL, because it's ISIL. Yeah, they say ISIL. ISIS, ISIL, not IS.
I mean, to add so they have IS, ISIL, ISIS, dash, and now ISIL. So there's now 5. Anybody in Marcom, I love that, Marcom, everybody in Marcom knows that you need to have the brand be consistent.
There's some modern thinking that says no to that. But I don't think they're doing that. I don't know what it is. I have no idea. It's crazy.
Okay.
I tell you, I do have a theory about that, about the blowing up ruins.
Okay.
Well, play my blowing up ruins clip so we can catch up to this.
Very much overseas now to Syria. Last time we told you about those priceless ruins, 2,000 years old, destroyed by ISIS. And tonight, what appears to be proof. ISIS posting new images. This Roman temple rigged with explosives, ancient columns leveled. ABC's Alex Marquardt reports tonight from Syria.
The temple that stood for 2,000 years, tonight a pile of rubble. Here, chilling new images of what ISIS claims are its fighters, placing barrels filled with explosives around the temple of Baal Shamin, wiring bombs to its pillars. In an instant, this archaeological treasure in the ancient city of Palmyra erased. Earlier this month in Damascus, we were shown a Palmyran tomb by the man in charge of rescuing Syria's historic artifacts, devastated by the rampant destruction.
We preserved Palmyran art, but we cannot preserve Palmyran site.
A site that until now was protected by an 82-year-old archaeologist, reportedly accused by ISIS of refusing to give up hidden antiquities before he was beheaded just last week. ISIS has looted and sold what they can, often destroying what they can't, calling it sacrilegious. The UN calls the temple's destruction a war crime, and it certainly won't be the last. Alex Marquardt, ABC News, Damascus.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to rubblize!
So when you take the basic no agenda thesis, which is the idea is to completely flatten the Middle East and rebuild it.
Yep.
And possibly even poison the oil wells, but that's another offshoot of the basic thesis, which is to flatten it and then rebuild it with our big giant construction companies. What is one of the real irritating aspects to building what you want to build?
If you have a protected sacred site, then you can't just get rid of it.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, good work, everybody. So we must be.
These guys do it. So that's okay. Because why are they stopping their war, their battle, their takeover to rig this old? It's not even in the way of anything current. But why are they leveling it? There's no reason to do that unless you're going to build over it.
I'm going to give you that one, John.
You couldn't get the permits to do that under normal circumstances.
I give you a slow clap. It's spot on. And I always love it how people are like, oh, it's such what a tragedy, what a travesty. It's a bunch of old crappy ass pillars and rocks. It's in the way. It's in the way. Yeah. That's Erdogan, by the way. Those guys. Yeah. Those
guys
likes
to tear shit down. He was trying to remember that's how they got that big protest because he was trying to remove a park or something that the people liked.
That's what these guys do, particularly Erdogan.
Yeah, I think you may be onto something with this Erdogan thing. I do. Here's the clip I was looking for while you're talking about Turkey. This is again Amy Goodman, and I want you to see if you can find a very interesting new fact. You have never heard this before anyplace else ever, but this is a new fact we should take into account. Play the Turkey Air Base's kicker.
Okay. You know what I should probably do? Well, no, I won't do it because I can't find it. Here we go.
The Pentagon says the U.S. and Turkey have finalized details of a plan to include Turkey in the U.S.-led coalition battling the self-proclaimed Islamic State. Turkey entered the fight against ISIL last month, opening up an air base in the United States and beginning airstrikes against alleged militants in Syria.
Okay, well, let me listen to it again because I didn't hear anything in there.
I've got information, man. New shit has come to light.
The Pentagon says the U.S. and Turkey have finalized details of a plan to include Turkey in the U.S.-led coalition battling the self-proclaimed Islamic State. Turkey entered the fight against ISIL last month, opening up an air base in the United States and beginning airstrikes against alleged militants in Syria.
A lot of alleged, but I don't think I caught where you were.
Opening up an air base in the United States?
Oh, is that what she said?
Yeah.
Oh, my God, my ears are full of parsley.
The Pentagon says the U.S. and Turkey have finalized details of a plan to include Turkey in the U.S.-led coalition battling the self-proclaimed Islamic State. Turkey entered the fight against ISIL last month, opening up an air base in the United States and beginning airstrikes against alleged militants in Syria.
Good catch.
I'm surprised you didn't hear it because I think you're still reading your own reviews.
No, I'm not. Somebody produces the show, believe it or not. But there are things that take place here that you have no idea are taking place.
Okay.
All right, well, let's stick with some caliphate news. Now, this is, in fact, the producer who alerted me to this even sent me a link to the No Agenda player, so we'd smoke our own dope for a moment. This is a repeat story that we've heard before and discussed in April on episode 710. It is almost exactly the same. And here we go.
Because of her age, we can't identify her. But in court today, this 16-year-old from Manchester pleaded guilty to terror offences. She'd used computers at her school to search for information about the so-called Islamic State, about the man known as Jihadi John, and for pictures of one of the extremists who murdered the soldier Lee Rigby. Her arrest was made by the same police officers who'd discovered plans for a terror attack at an Anzac Day parade in Australia. Involved in that plot was a 14-year-old boy in Blackburn. From his bedroom, he'd encouraged the murder of police officers at remembrance commemorations in Melbourne. Police there made a series of arrests before the attacks could happen, and here, detectives discovered the boy was also in contact with a 16-year-old girl in Manchester. She wasn't part of the Anzac plot, but they'd sent more than 2,000 messages a day to each other. On her BlackBerry mobile, detectives found the Anarchist Cookbook, which is a guide to making bombs, a document called A Bomb in the Kitchen of Your Mom, and in a sketchbook seized by police, they found a viable recipe for explosives.
Okay, so pretty much anyone who listens to this show and searches along with the topics can go to jail now. I have all these documents. I have the Anarchist Cookbook. I have the Inspire magazine, which includes the How to Make a Bomb in the Kitchen of Your Mom. And I have the Unabombers Manifesto. Come and lock me up.
Yeah, pretty much.
And this is just the beginning. How can that be illegal?
It's not.
Well, it is in the UK, apparently.
Well, the UK is like one of the politicians in the UK said this is our situation here in the UK is worse than 1984.
Yeah.
Until they have the cages they put on your head with a rat inside.
It really is. You know. Okay. Let me. So just finalizing on this, if they're blowing up the last bits where we want to rebuild, because maybe it could be a fantastic resort area. Maybe they want to build it.
Well, yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt about that. Now, one of the things I when I was thinking about this, that they're blowing these things up to clear the way is the point. For one thing, these are terrible. They're a sin. They even exist, and they blow them up because they're not a sin to exist. It's all nonsense. And meanwhile, they've been selling off what they can sell off to collectors.
Right.
If they can find a collector who will buy something, they can't obviously sell some of this stuff, and they just blow it up. And I think they've been blowing stuff up on and off all along the ways. I think they're just blowing up everything they can. I think they started slowly to see if there's going to be any real outrage that would result in anything. And all we've been getting is, oh, that's too bad. It's a shame.
Yeah.
And so they said, well, let's go now. Let's take some of the big stuff out that we definitely have to get rid of because we can't build a hotel anywhere near this. And I'm sure they're leaving some really cool stuff up. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in.
But to me, John, this means we're nearing the end.
Yeah, because they're starting to clear the way.
Yeah,
for the
this is so in the Western world, first you get your permits. That takes 10 years. You do all that stuff, and then once you're ready to go, then the first thing you do is you bulldoze. You raise everything. You bulldoze it. So this is the raising stage. So they must be close to pulling the trigger on all of this stuff to start building. But there's also this guy. We have a czar for this. Hold on, let me find him. We have a Is it the ISIS czar? Come on, what's the guy's name?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Yes, I have it right here. Hold on a second. It is, and also Erdogan's son has all these contracts to sell the Iraqi oil that he got to. He set up this BMZ Ltd. company.
I think we talked about him before doing this.
Yeah, I can't remember. But the czar here, General John R. Allen. He is the czar, the ISIS czar, who got the no-fly zone.
Is he still there?
Yeah,
I thought Allen was caught up in the scandal.
Is it the same one, John R. Allen?
The Petraeus scandal. I'm sure it is.
Well, he's the czar.
Oh.
They call it the U.S. diplomatic envoy coordinating the coalition against the Islamic State. Wait a minute. Do me a favor. So this guy's no longer in the service, right?
Well, now you're going to have to make us go to the Book of Knowledge.
We can. I think this actually warrants a trip to the Tree of Knowledge.
Consult the Tree of Knowledge.
All right, let's see what this guy's up to. He must be working for...
He's retired. He retired from the Marine Corps.
Right.
We got that much.
Mm-hmm.
Wikipedia, let's go. Retired U.S. Marine Corps 4-star general and past deputy commander of U.S. Central Command prior to... So he's back in government. He's double dipping.
Okay, so but he didn't go outside for a little bit and to...
Looks like he went on the 13th of 2014. He went right as special presidential envoy. In and out. I mean, out and in.
So, but he didn't go into any... He's not working for any consultancy firm or anything like that?
Can't find it. He went to... This is interesting. He has a Master of Science degree in the National Security... And in National Security... This is interesting. He got an MS somehow in National Security Strategy from the National War College. That's odd. That's bull crap. He just wanted a degree. Basics. Oh no! I'm seeing looking. I
don't see it either. I don't see it either.
Did anything outside of the government?
He must have some ties to some firm that is getting ready to do this, like BKR or one of these guys.
There is no evidence that he did anything outside of government.
All right. Okay. Just a few wrap-up bits here. First of all, on military-industrial complex, while we're in that, the DOJ is seeking has a contract for cyber training for the Army, and that contract will be $850 million for cyber training. That's not really implementing anything, just for training. This is so I read a lot of blogs about federal IT funding. I mean, it's really fascinating to see the kinds of things that they're looking at, and what they're talking about now for the new workers, the new government workers, in order to retain and to attract new millennials to stay and to enter the federal workforce. Do you know what the big thinking is now in Washington, D.C.?
They're going to hire that bald computer professor who makes all those CDs for free.
No.
Use him to attract the young ones.
No. They say that they're going to create workplaces and meeting rooms with Minority Report-like monitors. Apparently, the thinking is that the millennials want to have at least 6 screens they really get off on it. And so there's
who come in with this idea? Have anyone watched the millennials? They use laptops.
I mean, here it is. This is now this is coming from these federal guys. These here, one of the Navy's commands recently purchased the mezzanine room. And he recalled the commander saying, "We have a heck of a time getting people to come to work for the Navy. And if they're there, we have a tough time keeping them because we're just laden with these old processes and stovepipe systems." But the commander saw the ability to be able to offer modernized tools that would actually attract younger people to come into service. And they want Minority Report like interfaces and monitors and cool screens to work on.
Oh, brother.
Hey, man, don't shoot the messenger, okay?
I mean, come on.
Oh, there it is.
How about working under a structure that's not a bunch of douchebags that think that way?
Yeah, that would help.
That might be useful.
All right, let's get this wrapped.
I just wanted to get the North and South Korea story, which nobody played. By the way, all three networks, I tried to find this story, couldn't find it anywhere. Nobody wants to talk about this. This is the North and South Korea. Apparently, they've calmed themselves. They're not yelling at each other anymore. And here you go.
North and South Korea have reached an agreement to defuse the rising tensions between the two countries following an exchange of artillery fire and threats of increased military action last week. South Korean leaders agreed early Tuesday morning to shut off a loudspeaker that's been broadcasting anti-North Korea propaganda near the border, while North Korea indirectly acknowledged responsibility for planting landmines that recently killed 2 South Korean soldiers. The South Korean Director of National Security announced the agreement.
North Korea expressed regret over a recent landmine incident in the south side of the demilitarized zone along the military demarcation line that wounded the South soldiers. South Korea agreed to halt anti-Pyongyang propaganda broadcasts along the MDL from 12 o'clock local time on August 25th. North Korea agreed to end the quasi-state of war.
Good.
Yeah.
Good story. Straightens it out. Nobody knows this.
And we have a couple of producers in South Korea, and I don't know, the demilitarized zone, isn't that just a no man's land, or is it supposed to have no militarization? Is that the full concept?
It's kind of a no man's land. It's
because what happened apparently is
by Seoul.
Right, is that the North Koreans had planted some mines, and then a couple of South Korean guys were in the DMZ, the demilitarized zone, and then they stepped on a mine. And they blew their legs off, and that's when they put up the giant voice system again, the big speakers, to yell at North Korea, and then it went back and forth.
Right. That's probably as good as any explanation, unless you want to bring it to Star Trek. It was the neutral zone.
All right. And with that, we will work a little bit on the technology here. Try and get it better.
Wrap while we can.
Yeah. Well, it's... You know what? This is why we do this. It's to make sure everything... well, you know what? Screw it. It's what it is. I mean, it happens to the big boys, too. Sometimes. Doesn't it?
Well, when you have to do a remote in some far-off place, of course.
Yeah, things do. We certainly hope you will join us again on Sunday if you're listening live. I'm sorry? Hello? Don't tell me I lost you already.
Nothing?
No. Now I don't know if I lost you or not. It was just you cutting out. All right. We will return on Sunday, maybe do a little more, see if we can do some more testing and make this work. Coming to you from McKinney Falls State Park here near the capital of the Drone Star State in Austin, Texas. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And with a particularly long lag, I'm betting at this point in the broadcast, I'm John C. Dvorak.
We'll be back on Sunday. Please join us right here on No Agenda. Adios, mofos.
How about a parasite baby? How about a bloodsucker baby? How about a vampire baby? How about a freeloader baby?
Consult the Tree of Knowledge.
ISIS. We will follow them to the gates of hell. ISIS. I feel good.
It was worth it. It was worth it.
Fear is freedom. Subjugation is liberation. Contradiction is truth. Those are the facts of this world. And you will all surrender to them. You pigs in human clothing!
think I'm gonna crap my pants.
Adios, mofo.
Amen. Fist bump.
The best podcast in the universe. Dvorak.org/n